Good morning or afternoon or evening, everybody, wherever you happen to be, and welcome here to the beautiful virtual Phoenix Raceway for round number 3 in the Classic Indycar Series, the Open Wheels 200. Not a lot of time left before this race gets underway, just only 30 seconds, so we're going to jump through this one really quick like lightning speed here today, just like these Indycars on the circuit. I'm Nolan Rempel with Rob Howden beside me in the booth and Will Vincent down in the producer's chair for today's broadcast. Rob, real quick before we go right to the starting grid today, thoughts on how this race will play out, because boy, what an intense one it was last week at St. Petersburg.
Yeah, we love that race at St. Peter's, or at Sebring. It was a tremendous battle. Of course, it was a Sebring, St. Petersburg kind of event. It's a great run there, for Lucas Laville with the victory. This is going to be exciting. This racetrack is a handful. These cars are going to be bumping around. It's the old circuit. It's a rougher ride around here, and these older Indy cars don't quite have the technology of the new cars here. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a bull ring. Let's see if those drivers can handle the opening couple of laps. I think that's going to tell what kind of a rhythm we're going to get into, Nolan.
Absolutely, it will. And now, well, we are going to be jumping right through to the starting grid for today. Andrew Aitken kicking things off on pole position with Randy Shoemake down there in second place. Martin Nagelkirchen in third place. Joshua Chin, last oval winner at Auto Club, in fourth place. Tristan Hauser in fifth. Jamie Wilson sixth. Lucas Laville seventh. Liam Quinn in eighth. Rounding out the top 10, it's Robert Groscher and Logan Simmons. Timo Isunemi in 11th, Jan Hoffman in 12th, Dario Rikhoff in 13th place, Ariel Guerra Jr. 14th. Rest of the order is going to be flashing by on your screen as, well, like we said, lightning pace today already. Most of the cars have gridded up, and we are getting set to go racing. It's going to be 31 drivers scheduled to take the grid. And, well, this is quite an unusual sight for sure. I think we all know of Henry Bennett, a driver who has been around the IndyCar community for so long. He's starting at the back of the grid today, Rob. Certainly an unusual sight to see for a driver who's usually very good at running in the top 5.
Yeah, indeed. Not a good qualifying run, obviously. And again, anytime you start at the back, it's going to totally change your strategy coming in. You can't get aggressive. Knowing the fact that these first couple laps could be a little bit hectic, Bennett's going to have to just chill out, relax a bit, see how things play in front of him before he goes on the attack.
Pace car setting these drivers off as we get set to go racing. It's going to be 200 laps around the classic Phoenix Raceway. This was, of course, before the reconfiguration, before the dogma was put in, when grass still ruled the infield over there in 3 and 4. Lots of bumps on the track today. It's going to be a challenge for sure. I know I personally could not complete more than 2 clean laps when I was taking this car out for a test drive. So going to be a very intense race for sure. Well, half a lap to go before we go green.
One of the things about this program, though, these drivers so dedicated to this Classic IndyCar Series, they've got these setups dialed in, and that's the key for a racetrack like this. Drivers with those setups, those teams, of course, working together to make sure they have the exact setup. You need that. You need the balance on the race car to get things working.
Well, here we go, getting set to go racing. Pace car leads him down to the pit road. Andrew Aitken in the hands. He's on the lap pedal. We are off and away for 200 laps here at Phoenix Raceway. And already the top 2 well clear down into turn number 1. A clean start throughout this field.
That's what we wanted to see. We want that clean start to get things rolling. Drivers doing a good job here on the opening circuits, and that's one of the things we're looking for. Can they get a good run early? Let's say we get 5-10 laps in. That way, Nolan, things will start to kind of settle out a little bit. Drivers settling in. I like these opening couple of laps thus far.
Absolutely. Current 2 cars side by side for 5th and 4th. Jamie Wilson trying to fight around the outside of Martin Nagelkirchen. Currently duking it out down to the 3 and 4. The 87 car still trying to pull that outside around the 82. Wilson still trying to fight that top side. He's certainly looking good around that high side. He's certainly getting a lot of momentum around in that number 87 machine as they throttle it back down into turn 1. Looks like that 82 looking to get the jump on the entry of the corners, but Wilson able to clear around the outside for turn 3.
Andrew Aitken taking full advantage of that pole position. Good for him. Clean air out front, obviously crucial here. Everybody settling in. Having a look back at Jamie Wilson, the number 87 machine, running in the 4th spot, as we said. Opening laps looking good. We're actually into a good roll here. I like it. It's a 200 lap in here, the Open Wheels 200. Big thank you to Tanner Watkins for sponsoring the event here today. The Classic IndyCar Series always putting on a great show. And for 200 laps, I think one of the things, Nolan, we got to watch for, and that is consistency, and that's for drivers who are able to keep the focus. This is a long race to focus on this racetrack. It's a tough one for sure. If we get a lot of long runs, you can see some of these drivers could potentially start making mistakes, get a little tired mentally.
The lead swap just a lap ago. Joshua Chin, the Auto Club winner, was looking to take two for two at Sebring last week, and of course was not able to make that one work. Had a few issues, but now he's looking very clean and green up there in the front. He's starting to pull away from Aiken as we look back now to 6th and 7th place. They're running single file right now. Hauser running a bit wide though at 1 and 2, and that's going to allow Lucas Laville to get underneath him through that dogleg, jumping onto the yellow curves as well. Hauser, not much he can do to fight against that, and he actually might lose out another spot here to Liam Quinn.
You know, very early in the season, Nolan, but you got to believe Lucas Laville and Joshua Chin, two drivers that are going to be in the fight for the championship, and we're all said and done. It was a tremendous run for Lucas Laville at Sebring, that modified course, such a tough racetrack, but he was able to handle that nicely as well. For Joshua Chin, as you said, able to eke out that victory at Auto Club Speedway to start the season, but he had a really good run to the top 5 as well at Sebring. Both those drivers logging up the points here to get themselves into a championship fight.
Laville picking up another spot around the 82. That's going to put himself now up into the top 5. And Laville looking on a charge. Hauser fighting around that 82 as well. So looking on the back of that number 82 car now as they thundered down the back straightaway, down into turn 3 again. And well, this has certainly been a good race so far. Good opening last. A lot of position swapping as, well, there you can see now Liam Quinn trying to look around the inside. Well, he can't get the nose in there. Almost gets that yellow line. That yellow line right at the apron. That's something they really got to watch out for. There isn't a lot of banking at this track, but there is a little bit. And, well, from what I've seen throughout the practice and qualifying, that little transition, it's all that these Indy cars need because they are driving right now on the absolute knife edge of control.
And that's the issue, right? You got to stay focused. You get below that yellow line and you upset the balance of the car, then you're going to have trouble. Thus far, drivers doing a tremendous job. Andrew Aiken running in 2nd. Randy Shoemake up there in the 3rd spot as well. Shoemake finished 4th at the first oval race of the year at Auto Club Speedway, so we expect him to factor in here as well. But Joshua Chin out of the gate with that victory in Fontana. He continues to run up front now. Some pretty good lap times as well, banging out 21.7s. Got down to a 21.5 early, but he leads over Aiken, Shoemake, Wilson, and Laville.
So keeping our eyes on that battle for 3rd place up there as Aiken continues to try to reel in Joshua Chin, who's continued to pull a very big margin over this field. Aiken also looking on defensive against Randy Shoemake, but Shoemake's more having to focus on Jamie Wilson behind him. Wilson has been up in a 4th place now. He's trying to reel down that gap as well. He's currently been trying to close that in to Shoemake. He's been doing a good job of getting in closer. And right now, that's exactly what that 87 cars wanted to do. He's wanted to continue to reel him in. He's made his way up for 6th place for now. He's looking good to get himself into a podium position here. He's going to look to the inside for turn 1. Not able to make it work just yet.
Obviously very early in a 200 lap or just 13 laps in the book. So I think Wilson biding his time right now. Let's feel how the car is going to be throughout the course of a run as well. Pit stops are going to be crucial as they were at Sebring. The in lap, the out lap, and making sure you nail the stop as well. It's going to be crucial here at Phoenix. Of course, every second is going to give you such an advantage on the racetrack and in such a short track like we have here. But Jamie Wilson, I like what he's doing. Nolan, he's settling in right behind Shoemake. He's not trying to get too aggressive, not trying to make any dive moves here right now. It's so early. Let these guys run up front and just kind of pull away. But up front as well, Joshua Chin, half a second now for Chin, the Team Camaro driver out front.
So Team Chimera right now running 1st and 8th, and well, actually got another car up in 4th place as well, so things are looking good for Chimera at the start of this one. Looking on the back of Joshua Chin now, there you can see the gap below, just under half a second now, back to Andrew Aiken. Chin has been really good this race so far. He didn't qualify on pole, keep in mind he did qualify down in 4th, but he quickly worked up to 1st, and now he is doing a good job at pulling away with that lead as well. Looking a little further down to the field, showing the battles are going on just about everywhere. Caleb Weekly for our Iconic Motorsports in the number 10, currently driving 16th. He's also trying to make some spots up as well.
Yeah, I think you look at the battle in front of him, I would expect that Caleb's just kind of biding his time right now because they were going too wide in front of him. I think that was Timo Isanemi and Dario Rakov side by side coming through. This is a great, there's Rakov there. What a fantastic battle. He's able to get to the bottom of the racetrack, and the driver outside him chases the car up. It's one of the things about this track, I think, Nolan, you want to push hard, but when you do get out of the groove like you do, because of course we're waiting to kind of rubber this track in a little bit, the more this race goes on, the more rubber will get down, the more grip we'll have. but we're all going to have the marbles at the top as well. If you get out of the groove, you've got to be smart. You got to get off the throttle, pedal it, because it's so easy to make a minor mistake and find yourself on the wall on the outside of the corner. These drivers showing very well so far, 18 laps into this 200 lapper, and everybody playing pretty nicely so far.
Everybody playing nicely, but it almost wasn't the case as we continue to look further in the back as, oh my goodness, it's I've been seeing some more aggressive blocking. Throw caution is out on the racing surface, and that is number 40 car that's gone into, it looks like he actually clipped the entry to the barrels there. That was Art McEwen, so we're going to take a look at what happened here. Oh, he got onto the transition there as we were on board. There you go. Dipped 2 wheels right below that line, and that's all it takes. Sent him around, and that is a hard hit into the water barrels there. Definitely bent out that front wing. Likely broke that suspension on the front right as well. So unfortunate there for the number 40 car, but well, first caution of the night here.
Yeah, Nolan, you kind of alluded to it earlier, right? That was the one thing you have to watch out of this track. The setups that they have for these cars, you can hustle around pretty good. Like I said, they've worked an aggressive track here. And again, the one minor little issue is that if you do get below, and you talked about it, get below the line, especially on the exit of turn number 4, you're asking so much out of the tires. They're giving everything they've got, and then when you dip that left front down under the yellow, it just upsets the car. And he went around quickly. And really, at that point, he's a passenger. And here we go, Nolan. 20 laps in, first stops, almost everybody coming down to pit lane.
Well, it's not a surprise. I mean, you're going to be having a lot of drivers here that are going to be, burning up those tires early on. The track is sitting at 116 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's a very, very hot track out there right now. It's only 8 degrees Fahrenheit in the air, so with these Indy cars continuing to pound rubber into it, they're going to be burning those tires up right now. So, well, my goodness, that was definitely it definitely hurt them. Well, I think we can take a little bit of a moment now while we are under this caution, these yellow flag pistols going underway, to take a look at, well, a quick lap guide, which is brought to us by the league owners here.
Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona for your 2020 OpenWheels.com 200. I'm Josh Baird, and I will be giving you a tour around the unique 1-mile track. We will enter into turn 1 with speeds near 175 miles per hour. The progressive banking makes the apex easy but goes away quickly and forces the car to the wall. The backstretch is very short with a slight bend in the middle. Turns 3 and 4 are pretty flat, but is nice and wide, allowing us to push the car throughout the turn. Exiting 4 will catch the unsuspecting driver where the wall meets the car very quickly. The exit will create a lot of drama throughout the race. This has been a 2020 Virtual Race Car Engineer Classic IndyCar Series track tour brought to you by Josh Baird. I hope you enjoy the race.
There was your lap guide for today's race here at Phoenix Raceway for the VRCE Indy cars. There you see the top 8 on the screen. Dario Rikov currently in the lead, did not come down to pits, sitting in first place. He's got Andrew Wood behind him in second, with Joshua Chin down in third, Andrew Aiken in fourth, Randy Shoemake in fifth, Lucas LaVille sixth, Jamie Wilson seventh, and Tristan Hauser eighth. I do want to make note here that all the drivers from, third place back did come in to pit, and I believe Andrew Wood did stay out, so Wood has picked up a lot of spots here, Rob. He and Dario Rikov, might be in for a heck of a restart here, because 20 laps, it's not a lot on these tires, but with the speeds that they throw around this track and how hot it is, it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would have made that move, because let's just say we go on a good run here now of 20 or 30 laps. These guys are going to have to pit under green flag conditions. They're going to lose a lot of time. They'll get lucky if they go a little bit here and we get another yellow, but I think I would have probably ducked down on the pit lane. Joshua Chin let everybody down, both Rikov and Andrew Wood electing to stay out. I'm just not sure if that was the move. Again, I will say this, pretty solid start to the race, though. 20 green flag laps. Everybody was kind of minding their P's and Q's. The only issue we had was that one spin where a driver made a minor mistake. It wasn't actually contact on the racetrack as well. So kudos to these drivers for the opening laps, Nolan, to be able to run side by side. We saw a lot of two car wide running through a number of the different corners here. So everybody playing nice early on.
A lot of the drivers early on certainly dotting the I's and tapping the Q's, and it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting one for this one as well. Waiting for that pace car to lead them back to the green. It's going to pull on off here in the hands now of Dario Rikov on the loud pedal. We are off and away. Andrew Wood right behind him. He is immediately under fire from Joshua Chin looking to the inside.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Let's see how these drivers are able to get out front. Like you said, we didn't have a lot of laps on the tires, so the grip levels are still going to be there. They're electing to go with track position. It'll be clean air up front, both Rickoff and Wood trying to get away. Chin already by, so Joshua Chin has worked his way now on board with Andrew Wood, one of the drivers who did not take the pit. So he runs P3 right now. He's got Andrew Aiken and Randy Shoemake starting to put some pressure on, but Joshua Chin, veteran driver, of course, as we already said, started the season with a victory in Fontana. He's now going to work trying to put the pressure here on Rickoff. He'll go to the inside, working his way now down into turn number 3. Book it. He's through. Joshua Chin back to the lead.
Keep an eye, though, for Andrew Aiken, who is right now behind both those drivers that did not pit. So Aiken, if he wants to go for that lead, he might have to start getting antsy here, and he might have to try to work his way up there as we take the look on board. And Andrew Aiken is there. You can see Andrew Wood can actually try to look around Dario Rickoff down to the turn number 3. That's going to hold up Aiken even further, but it will also open the door for Aiken to get his nose in there. He's going to be able to go for third place. They're going to go 3 wide down the front straightaway almost, though, as Randy Shoemake tried to go up the inside down there on the front. So, well, good thing that Schumann decided to elect not to do that. Now they're 3 wide, though, of a turn number 2 as, well, Luke Laville certainly getting antsy here early.
It's lap 27. I'm surprised these guys are throwing down like they are so far, but as you said, 3 wide, 2 wide, really going to work at it here. There seems to be a sense of urgency early, and it's kind of surprising me a little bit that they wouldn't kind of settle in for another like 30 or 40 lap run. We're on board with Randy Shoemake now. You see he's running the high side down to the bottom, the number 29. The Vortex Sim Racing driver Lucas Laville coming off that victory at Sebring. Looking pretty good here now. Laville has a couple of wins on ovals to his credit, so he's definitely going to be a driver we'll watch before the end of this. But I'll tell you, Nolan, surprised by the amount of really aggressive racing here early.
Yes, indeed. It certainly has been something, but hey, aggressive racing, that's what we like to see. That's what we expect from a series like this, at a track like this nonetheless as well. Andrew Wood going to lose out a spot here potentially to Luke Laville, trying to go back-to-back. Laville now up the inside of Wood is going to have that lane for sure down in the turns 1 and 2, and he's going to get that one done early. Wood, can he try to pull the outside? He's going to try to get the crossover. Can't quite make it work, though. Caution. Out again, and well, crash. It's over at turn number 1 and 2, it looks like. I know there was at least one car. Oh, so there was actually 2 incidents here. We had Dario Rickoff, who's into the infield. You had Todd Novosad, who spun around in turn 2 as well, and actually collected the 8 car of Hannes Pitkin. Gonna look at what happened to Rickoff first. He was run over from behind, actually, Rob, off turn number 2.
Yeah, it almost looked like he had to get off the throttle and pedal it a little bit. I had some trouble coming into that corner. There's the other wreck as well for Todd Novosad. So things really not going the right way for Rickoff. Again, we'll see if we can't see. This is, I believe, Novosad. Yeah, he'll be the issue for Novosad. He's working his way down the front chute. Let's see what happens for him as he comes into turn number 1. Potential contact, potentially from behind. No, again, what did we say, Nolan? You cannot let the left side Firestones get down below that yellow line. When you do, it upsets the balance of the car, and you could just see it immediately start to rotate. He backs it into the wall, and another driver with nowhere to go making contact with Novosad as well.
Yes, indeed. So Hans Pitkin, with damage from that one, had nowhere to go. So severe front wing damage on the number 8 car. So, well, it's certainly has been a race for those incidents with the apron, and well, no doubt not going to be over yet.
Well, there's one no-no here at Phoenix, right? Do not go below that yellow line. We've seen 2 drivers make that mistake. You've got to run that almost a half of a groove up. You don't want to be that far down to the bottom, and you really don't need to be that low on this racetrack as well. It works well when you're kind of in that half groove up, as I said. Let the thing roll out all the way to the wall coming out of the corner. We've seen that from Joshua Chin, Andrew Aiken, Lucas Laville, these drivers out front. They're running cleaner lines. They're not pushing as hard. Guys a little further back, I think, wrestling with it and just making that minor car placement error that finds them going around.
Well, we have seen a lot of quite a few of those incidents. Well, actually, I say a few. It's been 2 incidents, and no doubt not going to be the last. And I'd actually like to bring in Will Vincent to get his view on this. Will is, of course, standing by with us as well as sitting behind the camera as well. Will, it certainly has been an interesting first 32 laps, and with that apron the way it is, I think we can expect some more problems coming up for these drivers in the near future.
I think there's 3 things you need to think about. Number 1, the early lap dashes that we have are important because the dirty air here at Phoenix is so difficult once you start getting into that rhythm. And if you are on older tyres and you can survive the first 10 laps, then actually you're going to be okay. But the second thing is, you're right, that yellow line is so important, and I've turned thousands of laps here around at this old Phoenix, and you put two wheels below that line, you are immediately going to spin out. And thirdly, the key thing about today, it's going to be about strategy. Note that no one really came in at the front of your field on that sequence of pit stops. A few guys came in towards the rear of the field, but strategy and track placement are two really important things here today.
Oh, absolutely. You know, track placement and, of course, like you said, that dirty air. It is so severe with these cars, just the way that the aerodynamics work. It's tough. It makes it a real challenge to pass. We've even seen that outside line. It's been a dominant line, especially on the exits of the corners. And, well, the way the draft can work at a track like this, or what little there is, as the lights are now out on the pace car, Rob, the dirty air, that's going to be one point to look out for as well. It's going to definitely hinder some of the drivers, especially further in the back when they're trying to make those moves.
Yeah, indeed, and that's why I think why you see some drivers potentially going a little bit lower, flirting with that yellow line, because you got to get a little bit of air on that wing. So you don't want to be right behind the guy in front of you. You got to either be a half a lane higher or a half a lane lower to make sure you got a little bit of air coming over that front wing. That's what's going to give you the front grip. But as you said, lights are out on the pace car. Joshua Chin's got the open track. He's got the clean air. He will lead them back when they come to green. Andrew Aiken running second. Lucas LaVille third. So the first two winners, no one of the season, Chin and LaVille, looking like they're strong here again today, running P1 and P3 respectively.
Well, gonna have to, again, wait to see how the restart plays out. Pace car leads them once again through turns numbers 3 and 4. Pulls it off to pit lane. Chin immediately on the loud pedal. A great jump from that number 93. He is off and away. Andrew Aiken down in second, though, trying to get that jump as well. Lucas LaVille following close behind in third.
Really strong start for Chin, able to jump out there in the Team Camara car. A nice little advantage here early on. You can see with that open racetrack, he's hitting his marks early. Everyone else kind of settling in here in that right now. 35 laps in. We had that nice 20-lap stint early. And then, of course, drivers coming to pit lane. As Will had mentioned, if you're further back in the pack on a yellow flag, you know what? Yeah, come on in, get some fresh rubber, see what you can do. Top up on fuel, see if you can get off sequence, because that could work for you. But for a guy like Chin, Aiken, LaVille, he's the one that's going to pit. If he pit, a couple other guys may have come in. He'll be the guy that sets the pace. He'll be the first guy in, likely, of course, running out front there. He's going to be burning a lot of fuel. But for Chin, they're all watching him. They're seeing what he's going to do because he now is the leader. He's essentially the Pied Piper. They'll follow suit with whatever he decides to do.
Things were looking a bit dicey in the back. Matt Molnar took him 3 wide through the dogleg and actually got squeezed out in that number 5 machine. Well, Molnar had a bit of a close call. This was, it looks like we're going to take a look back in the replay, see if we can figure out when this happened. This was about a lap or two previously, so it was definitely a close one. Got squeezed out right through the dogleg, so it was unfortunate there for Molnar, who had to jump on the binders and try to, get himself working, but now he's going to throw it up the inside of Timo Isunimi and try to make another spot. That is the battle for 15th place right now, and you can see Isunimi still pulling that outside line nice and strong. Molnar up down the inside of the turn number 1, though. Nothing Isunimi can do to fight against this one.
Yeah, it's such a hard place to pass, right? You can see that pass really started probably cutting into turn number 3. He got to the bottom in turn number 4 and then finally was able to get it coming down to turn 5. And in fact, Isanimi's got to watch out for Josh Baird, the number 23. He's starting to put some pressure on here. We'll ride on board here with Josh in the iconic motorsports entry, trying to get to the inside of Isanimi. I will give Isanimi the props, though, because once Molnar got to the inside, he ran that high line. When you start trying to pinch down, Nolan, that's when you make that mistake, right? You get the car to over-rotate. Listen, if a guy's got you on the inside, give him kudos. He's taking the apex away from you. You'll live to battle another day. Tuck back in and see if you can't go to work on him.
Well, especially in the opening laps of the race. I mean, we're not even a quarter of the way through this one already. So, gonna look back up now. This is the fight for 10th place right now. You got Robert Groscher running in 9th place with Johnny Gare right behind in 10th. You can see just behind one of the other Chimera cars, Neil McBride, trying to look around the high side. Caution out once again. So, frequent yellow flags and short green flag runs seems to certainly be the trend. And that was actually a huge crash. Timo Isinimi crashed into the pit lane and was actually up and over. So what in the world has gone wrong for the 43 this time? Oh, another clip of the apron. This time, though, shot up into the outside wall hard. Came back down, got absolutely railed, and took a wild ride down, flipping over the pit wall.
Very similar to the incident we saw at the very start where the driver got loose coming into the corner, but that driver didn't try to overcorrect. That's what happened there. Isadimi, you'll watch him. He'll drop the wheel down, and then he overcorrects it. The minute it sets up and grabs again, he absolutely shoots into the outside wall. And again, as you said, another car coming through and clearing him out. And again, this seems like it's going to be a theme, Nolan, that we're going to be talking about quite a bit here today. If these drivers can't keep themselves in that car position, the car placement coming out of turn number 4, you want to go low because you want to get the run out. You don't want the car to skate up the track and into the wall. I know that's an issue here as well. But, man, the minute you drop a wheel in like that, you're going to be in trouble. Hey, I think Aiken potentially down pit lane, the number 27 of Aiken, indeed, from P2. It surprises me, Nolan. I figured he would kind of follow suit and let Joshua Chin kind of set the pace, but no, he's going into pit lane. This is going to be interesting because it's going to put him down. Trouble here potentially for Aiken, or is he even going to make a stop, or is it a drive-through? No, he is going to make a stop. It's going to put him at the tail of the field. Interesting strategy for Aiken here in the number 27.
Aiken, of course, on pole, so he was able to, he was able to get that pit stall right at the very end. So it's an interesting one. Only 5 drivers came down on that stop, so we'll have to see, or 4 drivers, excuse me, only came down on that stop, 7.8 seconds. So we'll have to see what this will mean for, potentially fresh tires. They're going to bring Will in once again on this one. Will, your thoughts on the pit call there?
This is a classic case of if everyone came in behind Andrew Aitken, this would have been perfect for him. And I've seen this happen so many times before in things like the iRacing Indy 500, here in the Classic Indycar Series. If everyone came in behind him, it would have worked perfectly. And note, of course, it was 20 laps before the first change of tyres. It seems to be this time these drivers are a little bit more happy with the heat cycles going through. They're a little bit more comfortable right now, and they're rather favouring track position over having that fresher tyres. And that will be, if we go green for 50, 60 laps, it will come back to Aitken. But at the time being, Aitken's now got to work on a completely different game plan to everyone else around him.
It's definitely a roll of the dice, Will, but I actually like it. I think you're right. I think if he's going to be able to run second behind Chin. Again, we're 45 laps into it. We still have not got to the quarter mark yet. You're right. If we go on a long stint now, let's say we run 40 more laps and we have to go to green flag stops, he's going to cycle up to the very front of this pack. So this is a really interesting call by Andrew Aiken, the guys at Aero X. I like it. It's bold, but if we go for a run here, you're right. This is going to pay off big time.
Yeah, so there you have it. It's one of those things where Aiken's got to really be careful now. This is it's really the hazard of putting yourself off cycle. We've seen this time and time again throughout many of these different series that we've done. Is drivers put themselves off cycles like this, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll have to see in about 40 laps or so if this will really help out Aiken and put him back up through to the front of the field. Lights are out on the pace car as we get set to go green again.
Indeed, it was 2 of the Aero X drivers coming into pit lane, those teammates, both Randy Shoemake and Andrew Aiken, electing to come in. So they are running together right now in 15th and 16th. We get a long run, they're going to be in good shape. But as you said, Andrew, really, really a good point. They have to be careful right now because mid-pack is where you can see some incidents happen. As long as they're able to stay clean and stay away from potential trouble, you're going to find them working their way back up if we go for a long run.
Well, fingers crossed that we'll get one of these longer runs in this time. Approaching lap number 50 in just 4 laps time. We will be at the quarter mark. Joshua Chin once again off and away. And we are green flag racing once again. Single file out through the field. And already in the back, I see Matt Molnar putting his way up into 9th place around Clark Archer.
Good battles already early on. Drivers trying to get take advantage of this. It is an opportunity to pass, right? It's tough throughout the race, but on a restart, that's when you can jump somebody. Could potentially get off on the throttle a little bit earlier. You're able to get a good run through one of these corners. Maybe they're a little more tentative. Riding on board here with Clark Archer, currently sitting in that 10th position. And running nicely down to the bottom of the racetrack here. Again, so early on, we're just coming to the quarter mark of a 200-lapper. And we'll continue to keep watching Andrew Aiken for you as well. I'll keep an eye on him coming through the field and to see how he's doing, because right now working right to the outside of the number 82 and the number 23 at Josh Baird as well. So interesting racing here for Andrew Aiken.
Oh, and contact in the back, and that has sent one car almost around. Martin Nagelkirchen taking a slide to the outside wall, and he managed to hang on to that. A beautiful save from the 82 after contact with Karsten Broadway. And, well, that was a close call for sure, and he actually got hit again on the back end as they went through the dog leg. So he saved it, and then he got hit again just to add insult to injury. The second hit was by Logan Simmons, who was trying to go around his outside. There was no room at all. Not quite sure what the thought process was for Simmons, I guess. Well, it's one of those things where you're just going so fast, maybe didn't have time to react properly. That is so unfortunate, though, for the 82 machine, who is down the pit road with a busted suspension.
Well, I'll tell you this, too. Why it's such a shame is because that was such a pro save by Nagelkirchen. He got contacted there. He's rolling so much corner speed there, got a bunch of wheel, and was able to save it. And then one driver coming in from behind. Just, there was no way there was room there either. He was trying to stay high on the racetrack. It's a shame to see that because that was probably one of the better saves I've seen in a while. Great job for Nagelkirchen.
It's not easy to save these cars, and he's showing you just how difficult it can be.
Robert Grosser running in the 6th spot. Johnny Garrett in 7th. Grosser was, of course, one of the drivers who featured in the battle at Sebring with Joshua Chin and Lucas LaVille. We saw some great racing at that particular short course facility. Grosser here in that, as I said, in the number 3 machine. Again, the leader for the Vortex Sim Racing crew, multi-time winner here in the program. 64 starts in the series. He's a 5-time winner and a 3-time champion. Grosser kind of just biding his time right now, running P6.
Biding his time, that's what he needs to do right now. Still got a long way to go in this one. Don't forget that dirty air could be impacting that attempts to try to get around him as well. As you can see, Garrett's got such a good run on Grosser down to the corners. It almost looks like what Garrett's doing in 3 and 4 is he's actually taking a wider arc and taking a later apex, which is helping him to try capitals on the exit speed. Now he's going to try to make around the look around, though. They're going to be wheel to wheel in turn number 1, and now Garrett through. Grosser trying to fight that outside line. Clearly not giving up this fight through the dog leg, and Grosser manages to get his front wing just barely in the front. Still side by side through 3 and 4, and that 68 got to be very careful with that yellow line.
What a great camera angle off the back part of Grosser's car, holding the outside as the 68 of Garrett continues to run that bottom side. What a great side-by-side battle with these two drivers. We're talking about 6th and 7th. They keep going back and forth. This is tremendous racing here early on. Surprising, though, that they're pushing so hard like this. This is going to take a toll on the tires. And finally, Garrett able to get the job done. But kudos to Robert Grosser there, running outside for a couple of laps. Holding on is now McBride in the number 41 coming up to play as well.
Now McBride, he was definitely hoping they might have taken each other out. It would have been 2 free spots for him. You saw Grosser was trying to look to the inside, maybe trying to go for a cutback through turns 1 and 2. Wasn't close enough to make the move. Decided not to take the risk. So a good call there from him to kind of bow out of this one. My goodness, though, what a great fight there for 6th place. That was absolutely astonishing. Further in the back, another fight going on right now. Randy Shoemake trying to make one on Karsten Broadway. They're currently wheel to wheel through 3 and 4.
Seen a lot of great battles all the way through the field. Just a quick update on Andrew Aiken, back up to the 13th position. Remember, he's waiting for a long run here and seeing some green flag pit stops. I like this fight, though. Karsten Broadway in the number 15 machine on the bottom of the racetrack. Broadway now going to work here. A good scrap with Randy Shoemake. Remember, Shoemake in that number 2, one of the drivers who pit early there. He's had his second pit stop already. He, too, hoping for a long run here, but Karsten Broadway still in that number 10 machine, the iconic motorsports driver, down to the bottom of the racetrack, flirting with the yellow line, but able to get to the inside of that number 35 machine. Caleb Weekly here as well in the number 10 to the bottom. He's got the openwheels.com logo on the back. Big thank you for their sponsorship of the event here today. But Caleb Weekly now running up into the 15th position. Had that position on the bottom of the track, Nolan. He'll get that spot as they cross start-finish.
Crossing the start-finish line, and my, what a good battle this is. And I can see the one car that's actually leading this train, that's actually Logan Simmons, who is, if you'll remember, a lap down. So Simmons actually held up Andrew Aitken, who's now was just under fire for Randy Shoemake. Shoemake, though, overdrove the corner, and that's allowed Caleb Weekly to get to his inside now back through turn number 1. So now all of a sudden Shoemake went from trying to fight for 13th, having to try to defend for 14th. Look at that drive around the outside for Shoemake. Clears Weekly by the time they exit the dog leg. This is some really close racing that's going on here as this run continues to stretch out. This has got to be the longest green flag run we've gotten all race so far.
Yeah, and the one thing about this, remember, is Shoemake and Aiken, those two drivers at pit, they've got much fresher tires, probably 20-lap fresher tires than everybody else out here on the racetrack, and this is starting to pay off a little bit. Caleb Weekly in the number 10, Carson Broadway in the number 35. That is the battle for 15th and 16th. But Randy Shoemake was able to get by them and now works his way up into 14th. Things going well for both Aiken and Shoemake, 13th and 14th. But again, following this great battle here between Caleb Weekly and Carson Broadway. Good run in here for 15th, and bring Tristan Hauser in here as well.
Tristan Hauser trying to enter the mix as well, as it's going all well for him for now. So Hauser still clean and green and trying to find his way up there as we take a look. There's a bit of a block there for Randy Shoemake on Caleb Weekly trying to shut that door. And in fact, he did shut the door hard right in his face. It's not wanting him to get through just yet. So now we're seeing a few more of these blocks starting to take hold behind them. Tristan Hauser up the inside of Carson Broadway. 16th place, trying to pull around Hauser down in 17th. Hauser going to take that spot at the line, getting really close down in turn number 1, nearly pinching that 35 car to the wall, scaring him out of the corner there.
And I'll tell you this, both the Shoemake and Aiken do not want to see a yellow flag right now. They would love to see green flag pit stops. It's 45 laps for Joshua Chin and Jamie Wilson up front. That's how many laps they've put in to this stint so far. Further back, Andrew Wood, 66 laps on his stint, but again, just 21 laps and 22 laps now for Aiken and Shoemake. They would love to see this thing keep going to get an opportunity for green flag stops.
Battle on for third place. Andrew Wood tried to fight around Lucas LaVille. They're currently side-by-side Chimera teammates. Liam Quinn and Andrew Wood. Quinn being forced to back out of this one. So the battle for third is on, and well, my goodness, Wood back to the inside of LaVille now through the dogleg. Is he going to take that spot? It's a 4-car fight right now. Down for third place. And oh no! Heads up for Andrew Wood. Sideways off the corner. He's going to hang on to it. Still got cars trying to fight around behind him though. Andrew Wood going to drop down a whole boatload of spots here. But that was a very impressive save. The first save we've seen off of the yellow line.
Yeah, remember Andrew Wood, guys, 68 laps into this session. How does he save it? We saw two drivers wreck like that. What a replay there. That car started to come around on him. He got off the throttle and just gave it enough wheel. You're right, Nolan. He did lose a couple of spots, but that could have ended much differently for Andrew Wood. Again, a long run on his tires, losing a bit there. Surprising he didn't get contact from behind as well, but that's a tremendous save, too, for Andrew Wood.
Oh, yes, indeed. Great job. Great driving for the cars behind to be able to notice what was going on and avoid it as well. Now Matt Molnar trying to fight around Andrew Wood. Wood going to keep it to the outside. You can see Henry Bennett in the 007 started back of the field. He's up into the top 10 now and continued to try to advance on his position here. So Bennett, he's been doing a good job so far in the race. That was a pretty big block there as well from Andrew Wood exiting the dogleg. Molnar trying to fight the outside. Still can't find anything to work for him. This is certainly a pretty intense fight here. Nobody's able to get alongside because everybody's blocking so hard throughout these corners and down the straightaways. Yeah, based on our live timing, Andrew Wood, the only driver, has not yet come into the pits as of yet. A 72-lap stint. That kind of surprises me. Again, his tire's going off a little bit here. We saw how well guys like Randy Shoemake and Andrew Aiken were running. Of course, they pit on lap 42. Shoemake's been able to get by his Aero X teammate Aiken, so Shoemake now up into 13th still. Again, as we said, banking on this long yellow till we have to go to green flag pit stops. Joshua Chin, winner from Auto Club Speedway, leading the way. Jamie Wilson second, and Sebring winner Lucas LaVille in third. When will they come to pit lane? How long can they go on the stint here today? That is, I think, probably the storyline we need to keep watching. Grosher still trying to fight around the outside of Neil McBride. McBride still holding that inside line, but not able to get a good drive at the corner. Grosher still on the outside line, and heads up as Andrew Wood looked to make him 3 wide in the turn 3. That wouldn't have been wise on your own teammate, so he decided to elect to back out of that one. Now he's trying to get up the inside of Grosher. Grosher looking to the inside now. Can't make anything work. Behind Matt Molnar trying to have a go at Wood. This is all very, very close. Their front wing to gearbox right now. These are This is some pretty intense stuff right here. Everybody's zigzagging across the track. Nobody's really trying to get a good racing line down. They're all just trying to pound into this track and fight as hard as they can. And it's some great work we're getting on these onboard cameras as well from all these rotating shots. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Now, can Wood get to the inside of Groscher? He's going to look to the inside, going to turn number 3. He is going to dive it in, and now, finally, Andrew Wood going to be to the inside, but Groscher still trying to pull that outside line off of turn 4.
Yeah, Robert Grosser, Noel's been able to run that top line and do it well. And again, he did lose a spot early on, but he's able to hold off the 32 of Andrew Wood. Remember, though, Andrew's trying to run that bottom line. He's got a lot of laps on those tires. He's going to lose another spot here. Both Matt Molar and potentially Henry Bennett, who you mentioned earlier, started at the tail of the field. Bennett's worked his way now up into the 10th spot. But I'll tell you this race is absolutely thrilling right now. When Indycar came back to Phoenix after they redid the track, it was a processional race, right? It was pretty much just nose to tail. It really wasn't an exciting race to watch, and that's why we're not there anymore. If we had racing like this, IndyCar would be back at Phoenix, because this is a ton of fun to watch right now. The battles we're seeing are tremendous, and even with the aero wash, these drivers running a lot closer together than I kind of would have expected when we talked earlier in the day.
Well, amen to that for sure. Battle on for third place is looking like this is Liam Quinn having a go at Lucas Laville. Sebring winner! Almost a little bit of contact. A big bobble there from the 29 car. I think there might have been a little bit of contact there between Quinn and the 29 car. That's allowed Johnny Garrett to close right on up. A huge moment there for Laville, nearly losing the back end, but he's able to keep that one sorted. Battle for third is definitely picking up as well. Laville trying to fight back.
I'm absolutely shocked that Laville was able to hold on to it. You think about that part of the racetrack, that's when you're really asking a lot out of your Firestones coming out of turn 4 like that. The car, as we know, can get loose and go around pretty quickly out of 4. The contact there would, in my mind, would have been similar to going down below the line. And of course, the guy's going, oh, we got a driver in the pit lane here right now. That's the 32 of Andrew Wood. There you go. So now we've seen it. Andrew Wood finally into the pits. 81 laps he put on a tank of fuel. 81 laps. So indeed, that's the length. Remember, lap 42 is when we started. Will we be able to go to lap 123? That's what we've been looking at for Joshua Chin if he goes that long. And that's what Shoemake and Aiken are going to need. We need to get well past 100 and go to maybe 130 laps if they're going to pay off on that early pit stop that they made.
Absolutely. So, well, the strategy call is now for Andrew Wood, who brought it down a bit earlier than everybody else, it looked like, as all the drivers still keeping it out on the track and continuing to duke it out for these different positions. So, going to continue to keep an eye on that and see just how this one will go. Going to look back to that battle now for about 9th place. We're now Robert Groscher trying to look under the inside. And there you can see Johnny Garrett from 5th place coming down to the lane as well. So, reflex style starting to get underway as Groscher continues to try to fight his way underneath Henry Bennett.
I like this battle between Grosser and Bennett, a couple of veteran drivers here in this classic IndyCar series. And again, Grosser letting that go back into the 8th position right now. Good fight up front. You watch these drivers settling in midway through the race. 84 laps down. Again, early still in the stint. We know now that you can go around 81 laps, as we saw from Andrew Wood. Potential 2-stop strategy here for Andrew Wood if he's going to continue to do that again. You'll look for him to potentially pit on lap 160, 162, something like that. That would be his second pit stop. But this fight right now, Liam Quinn and Team Camara battling it out with Lucas Laville from Vortex Sim Racing. 2 wins on the oval last year for Laville. He won both at Pocono Raceway and at Chicagoland. So this guy can get it done here on the oval like he did at Sebring 2 weeks ago. One of your point challengers for the title here, now no doubt about it, Laville running strong right there behind Liam Quinn. Again, 86 laps in, and he's having a good run here, P4.
Notice that Liam Quinn is taking a much wider entry into turn number 3 and then cutting back down for the apex of turn 4. Laville was hugging that line all the way through, so there's your difference in racing lines, which more often than not does come down to driver preference and, of course, the setups as well. As you can see, there is Quinn taking a wider entry than Laville, and he's cutting down in for the exit, whereas Laville has to push out to the wall a bit more. Quinn got a little close to comfort, though, for the blue barrier on the outside. As well, there you can see, it's a difference in driver preference for the racing line, and it's interesting to see, how this is shaping up at this fight. As you can see, they're pretty much almost dead even on their lap times right now compared to each other.
Well, Nolan, like you said as well, a more shallow entry is going to give you a wider exit. But one of the things as well we meant, you've got to have that half car width. You've got to make sure you have some air coming in on that front wing. And Will Vincent, I think you'd say the same thing. You've got to make sure you get a little bit of air going over that wing. Yeah, pretty good run here right now for Henry Bennett doing exactly that, trying to run the bottom part of this racetrack now. You can see him just side by side here still with Molnar, finally able to clear him a little bit. Molnar still running the top, and it's Robert Grosser diving in there as well. Grosser trying to follow them all through. Still, Nolan, side by side, the 007 of Bennett on the bottom. On the top is the number 5 of Molnar. Look how separated they are coming through. Molnar goes high, though. Trouble for Bennett, spinning on the front straightaway.
And that's going to bring the caution down, so this will help a lot of drivers that ended up trying to run that stint long. That almost might have been a chain reaction because Molnar actually went into the outside wall in turn 3 as well, glanced off of it, and then Bennett clipped the, he actually lost it on his own. He didn't even hit the yellow line. That car just shot on his own, went head onto the inside wall. It didn't collect anybody else, thank goodness. Watching the replay, you'll see Molnar drift up and tag the outside wall and get a bit of a tank slider. Then Bennett just lost that all on his own. That's I never thought I'd seen Indycar do that without hitting the yellow line. So, well, there you have it. I believe this is going to be our 4th caution of the day now.
No, that's exactly what I kind of meant. You cannot just run the inside line at a track like Phoenix every single lap. Because if you do so, the back end will start to step out on you because you've got to remember, the banking isn't that high here. It's not like a Texas. It's not like a Homestead. You've got very little banking here. And if you end up having to on the inside line, you work on these in-car tools, you end up in that situation that the back end can step out on you very quickly.
Absolutely.
It's here now, Nolan, as drivers starting to work their way into pit lane. I think we're going to see Randy Shoemake and Andrew Aiken work their way back to the front here. Of course, they'd pit, I think it was around 40 laps ago, 50 laps ago. Yeah, 50 laps for those drivers back on lap 42. So 53 laps ago. Everybody else, I believe, has got to come in. Chin, Wilson, Quinn. I wonder if they're pulling in. There's the 27 coming into pit lane as well. That's Andrew Aiken. Back to pit lane for Aiken. That really surprises me. I thought he was going to go further in the stint. He could have been at least another 30 laps.
Well, I mean, if you have the caution, you may as well come on down while you can, especially if you're 30 laps into the stint. So you may as well come down, get fresh tires to everybody else, and that way you're not at a disadvantage. Chin led them down. He also went ahead and led them off as well. Actually, it looks like Dario Rikov potentially stayed out. Battery's going to be coming down this time. So Rikov, your current race leader, likely not for long, still has that rear wing damage. And, well, it's just like you said, Randy, you were just giving, I guess, the science lecture, so to speak, about, how the aerodynamics work with diamonding off the corner and everything like that. Well, I guess some people lead better through example, and Henry Bennett was, I guess we should say, kind enough to give us a physical example there of this one. So, unfortunate for him, for sure. He was doing so good. He was running his way up, and, well, now he's out of the race as a result of that. So it's just so unfortunate to see. He had the same thing happen to Sebring. If you remember, Rob, he was gunning for these podium positions, or for the top 5 positions in the final laps of the race with just 3 laps to go. He lost it through the final corner and hit the barrier, putting them out of a few more positions there. Yeah,
it's a shame for Bennett. As you said, didn't qualify well. Was able to work his way back up into the top 10. He was battling big time along with Matt Molnar and Robert Grosser. So that he was going to be able to fight for potentially a top 5. Did he have a win in the hands? I don't know. He had gone long on that stint for sure. But you did mention the fact that the 27 coming into pit lane, Andrew Aiken, that does not really surprise me. Randy Shoemake, I believe, pit as well, but he did a great job able to get up to P6. They were banking on that long run. Like I said, we needed to get to around probably a lap 125 for them to be able to take advantage of that early pit stop and see some green flag stops for Chin and for Quinn and for LaVille. Instead, everybody presses the reset button. They all come down to pit lane. The only guy, as you said, who did not was Dario Rikhoff. We do have, I believe, 4 drivers getting the wave around, a couple more drivers coming into pit lane. Rikhoff finally makes his run down into the stop, so he'll go to the tail of the field when he's done. But Joshua Chin, Liam Quinn, and Lucas LaVille, Nolan, they've been the class of the field so far. Chin taking full advantage of that open racetrack up front, that clean air that's allowed him to pull away at each restart.
Well, so far we got 21 drivers still in this race, and all of them are on the lead lap. So this is the good news for a lot of these drivers, as well, time to get set to go green flag racing once again. Single file. Chin got a great jump on the last one. We'll not be expecting any different. Pace car through 3 and 4. We get set to go racing again.
Joshua Chin has been absolutely stellar on the restarts, and look at him punch on the loud pedal. A big jump as well. Gets a great start here when the green flag reflies to start lap number 98. We're closing in on the halfway point of the 200 laps of this Open Wheels 200. And again, Joshua Chin, who won the season opener at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, a close race there. He has been the man to watch this entire race. Liam Quinn's put pressure on, but Chin's been able to get out front. It does it again. Good lead here as they work their way down into turn number 1. Probably about 4 or 5 car lengths here, Nolan, as Chin back to the lead.
Joshua Chin still maintaining that lead, and good for him for sure. We continue to look through some of the other closer fights throughout the field, and one of them is Tristan Hauser trying to reel in Chimera Racing's Neil McBride, and still trying to find his way up as well. We're looking up front to the battle for 5th place, which is on. Randy Shoemake currently trying to hold off Robert Groscher. Groscher for Vortex, still trying to find his way around the inside. Can't make anything down through 1 and 2 or the dog leg. Maybe have to try something here in 3 and 4. Continue to try to follow in the draft for now. As well, back up to the front as well as, oh, there we go. Side by side right behind them. That is the battle for about 12th place. Jan Hoffman getting clear of Andrew Aiken and nearly running them over off the corner.
Oh, tough one there for Andrew Aiken because Hoffman got really hot into the corner, had to get off the throttle a bit as it started to chase up the racetrack, and I'm surprised Aiken didn't get into the back of him. That was almost right rear to left front contact coming into the corner here. Here's a replay of it. You can see the car kind of working their way through as they come out of turn number 4. Tremendous battle between these two drivers. Of course, on the inside is Hoffman, and Aiken on the outside. The car just kind of chases up. You can see how he has to get out of it. And kudos to Caleb Weekly as well, Nolan, because he was right there. Any incident was, if they were to get together, I think Weekly probably would have got caught up as well.
Well, absolutely. Caleb Weekly reading the situation well, and he started to ease off, but now he's trying to look around Jan Hoffman, and he's going to get to his inside now for turn number 3. So Weekly done waiting for now. That number 10 car trying to make moves. He's going to put himself up into 12th place for now, but Hoffman still trying to fight that outside line. We've seen this time and time again where drivers have gone side by side for well over 1, 2, 3 laps at a time. So this could be, again, one of those situations where drivers are continuing to just be side by side just because of that exit. And now Hoffman going to ease off. He's actually going to try to go for an undercut, trying to get the better run off the corner. Can't make it work. And I like to look up front as well because the battle is also on Neil McBride, losing spots to Tristan Hauser. He lost one to Robert Groscher and Randy Shoemake. They're side by side right now for both 5th and 7th.
Yeah, side by side, 2 rows, as you said. 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th, side by side. Here's Neil McBride at number 41 machine in the 8th spot, right in front of him. Tristan Hauser, Robert Groscher, those 2 Vortex drivers. Randy Shoemake for Aero X as well. This is some really good racing, and we've seen it all day long here at Phoenix International Raceway, and I like this battle. Shoemake trying to go to the outside now. He's battling it out with Robert Grosser. Randy Shoemake, 4th at Auto Club Speedway, trying to get another top 5 finish, currently in the 6th spot. But look to the bottom. Here comes Hauser. Hauser to the bottom, Shoemake to the top. The 2 Vortex drivers now running 5th and 6th. Great racing here at PIR.
Randy Shoemake able to hold on around the outside, and he was able to get it back in for 6th behind, side by side between Niall McBride and Clark Archer. That is the battle for 8th, and McBride going to win out on that one. So he's going to cut back to the inside and try to cover it off, and he's going to be able to do so on the V-Apex machine of Clark Archer. Up front, though, that battle is now on for 2nd place. 3-car fight for 2nd. LaVille running in 3rd, and he's trying to fend off Jamie Wilson. He's in a Team Chimera sandwich right now. Wilson going to dive with the inside. That's for 3rd.
Yeah, great run here for Wilson, that number 87 machine. Nice textbook pass, able to put the car to the bottom. And Lucas LaVille, you know, he's a veteran driver. He's not going to throw it away. He's going to stay there. And, of course, when you get to the inside like that, better, as I said before, kind of check up a little bit, tuck back in. You can live to fight another day. Long way to go still. Still another 90 laps of our 200-lapper. We're just past the halfway point. No need to throw it away. But as you had said, the Team Chimera drivers running 1-2 right now. Joshua Chin, the leader, to Liam Quinn, back to 2nd.
Yes, indeed. So definitely good running for the Team Chimera drivers, who have locked out the entire podium at this time. Lucas LaVille running in 4th place as well. This has certainly been an intense race so far with a lot of close battling. And, well, let's put it this way. You're not going to get this kind of racing in stock cars racing here. And this has been a fantastic race so far. Back to your battle for 5th place, though. Shoemake trying to look underneath Hauser for 5th place. As Hauser, that's for 6th, actually. Groscher now currently trying to hold off this massive train behind him. He's got to be careful that he doesn't get trapped on the outside line and couldn't find himself getting freight trained here. Tristan Hauser trying to look under the inside and now you can see there's Shoemake looking at the outside, cuts back to the inside off the dog. That was an aggressive dive over there into turn number 3.
Indeed it was. Shoemake puts the car back to the bottom. Not sure that he's got the handle, though, yet on Tristan Hauser, as Hauser ran the outside of the track. Look at this great shot here off the rear deck of Hauser over top of the rear wing of the Delora. And he's still able to hold off Shoemake. That may be one of the good things for Robert Grosser right now. He doesn't seem like he's the fastest driver of this group, but it's his teammate behind him, Tristan Hauser, which I think is the key right now. Excellent. Loving this 360 cam we are getting to see, but I'll tell you, Grosser still running strongly in 5th, but the guys behind him, Nolan, they got to start getting anxious, you would think. Hauser wants to get by. Shoemake's already tried to make a couple of dive moves. I think all these drivers starting to get a little more anxious as we're at lap 114.
Over halfway to go as Neil McBride glancing off the wall for a brief moment there. That number 41. So got to be careful for that outside wall. It's not gonna like you too much if you hit it too hard. And well, as somebody who has gone to war against the walls at this place many times before, in about as many cars as you can probably find on the surface, I can guarantee you that wall will win every single time. There's never a situation where you come out on top of that wall. So McBride tempting fate a little bit there, shall we say, as he puts wide on the corner. As, like you said, these drivers are starting to get antsy here throughout this race as Hauser right at the back of Grosser now. Grosser really holding up this train here, it looks like. And, of course, the Vortex Simonson machine's running 5th and 6th. You can definitely tell that Hauser is trying to work with Grosser here, but they are holding each other up right now. And the 3 cars behind them. We're past the halfway point. It's something we're going to have to completely we're going to have to keep on watching this, because at this point, Grosser has got to make way for these drivers sooner or later.
On an issue here in pit lane right now, it's Andrew Aiken. He's coming to the pits, got loose coming out of turn number 4, and didn't actually hit the end of the wall, the pit wall. All he did was grab the rear wing off the car, but he has pulled in. The driver started on the pole position. The number 27 machine is out of this race. Contact, as I said, coming out into the pit wall. So there's a replay of it right there. He was able to get the thing righted back again, and here on board here with Aiken. Again, the dreaded yellow line. You can see he just spins it and just takes the rear wing off the car. He's brought it down to pit lane, but again, that's it for Andrew Aiken. It was a good run. He showed well throughout the day, but he'll finish down in the 20th position now, officially out of the race.
It's a big shame there for Aiken. Taking another look at this one now. Watching that rear wing as he just barely nicks the end of that tire bundle. That's enough to take that rear wing on. Of course, a very fragile race car, so there you have it. Getting the new wing onto the car. Battle is on for 6th place, though, as Randy Shoemake finally makes the move underneath Tristan Hauser. And he's going to get that one to work. Almost contact as well. Heads up, though, because they got Aiken exiting the track right in front of them. They might have to go 3 wide here to get around him. They are going to go 3 wide to get around, so things are looking tight in your battle for 5th place. Shoemake now trying to hunt down Grosser as, well, poor Tristan Hauser, he lost out on 3 spots. Well, that caution comes out, and that has just saved this battle from probably turning into catastrophe. Another incident with the pit lane, actually. This time, Logan Simmons, but that did not cause the caution. It was Andrew Aiken, actually, who lost it and hit the tire bundles again. There's the replay up on your screen for Aiken losing it again as you can actually behind as well. Logan Simmons actually hit the tire bundles as well. It's trying to fake out. Not sure what happened there for the 75 either.
He was too slow. He was too slow going through turn 3 and 4, and he quite clearly, Rob, didn't have his weight jacket set up properly. That's the simple answer.
Well, I was also watching. I had him actually up on my other screen. He came into pit lane, and they did put the wing back on. I thought he was out. He came out, but there was wing damage. The wing was not brand new. There was still damage on that wing when he came out. Obviously, he didn't have the grip. You can see came out at turn number 4 with that wing damage. The car went around on him again. So 2 incidents. Now the front of the car, I believe he may be done now. Andrew Aiken, he's still in pit lane. No front wing, no rear wing. Just didn't go good the last couple laps for Andrew Aiken.
Certainly not. So, well, as the Elephant Light pit stops begin to commence and Joshua Chen leads them down, I would like to take this time to, give a bit of a shout out here to the sponsor of the series, Virtual Race Car Engineer. It is a software package that includes the Setup Developer tool and the Virtual Race Car Engineer, which assists both virtual and real auto racing drivers in the chassis setup of their respective race cars. It's been created using more than 20 years of real-world and sim racing experience and has been vetted by real-world motorsport engineers. So serious stuff you're working with there. The Setup Developer tool walks their user through a step-by-step process of creating and customizing your very own personalized baseline race setup. It does so by asking multiple simple questions about the car type, track type, and behavior of this car on the track. Choosing from a menu of possible responses, the user describes the car and Setup Developer tool, and it does offer setup changes for each step in this process, ultimately resulting in a personalized baseline setup. What the Virtual Race Car Engineer does then is further fine-tunes this baseline setup to get the most out of the car and does so in quick fashion. It offers whole lap and corner-specific advice. VRCE will get the very best out of your setup. In the process, the driver tailors the setup to his or her individual needs and feel. The end result is a comfortable, reliable, and fast race setup ready to challenge for top positions. The ever-coveted place here on iRacing. Both the Setup Developer tool and the Virtual Race Car Engineer can be found at www.virtualracecarengineer.com. That is www.virtualracecarengineer.com. We are now, 124 laps in, about 76 laps to go when we get around to the line here, Rob.
Yeah, during that stoppage, we had everybody coming into the pit lane, which if we are able to go green will be long enough because right now, lap 124, we saw that Andrew Wood went 81 laps on his tires and fuel. So these drivers could go to the end if they need be. It was a great stop for Joshua Chen. He maintained the lead, as did Liam Quinn. But even better, Jamie Wilson, the number 87, he was able to leapfrog over Lucas LaVille to take that spot. So move Wilson up to 4th, LaVille in 5th. Randy Shoemake comes back out in 6th. He's able to get in front of Robert Grosser. Niall McBride ends up in 8th. Tristan Hauser back out in 9th. And Clark Archer, who was one of the drivers who was in the fight, actually finished 2nd at the opening round at Auto Club Speedway. He finds himself back into the 10th position as well. But good job for Jamie Wilson to leapfrog over Lucas LaVille with a strong pit stop.
Darius Ritkov did stay out this time, still has that rear wing damage. He's in the lead, and he did not come down under this caution. It's been an unusual one for Ritkov, who really just pits later than everybody else, but hasn't this time around, period. Will, your thoughts on this one?
3 things. Number 1, Rickoff is going to have to hold on for dear life in this restart. Number 2, you've got to remember that tyre barrier, that safer barrier, it kind of comes in a little bit before you actually enter turn number 1. That's the reason why when you're running too wide, you sometimes see the incidents. Number 3, lap traffic, we saw it already, will be a key part in the second part of this race because you cannot be slow out of turn 3 and 4.
Absolutely good words to look out for indeed. Ritkov on the lap pedal, off and away, and like you said, Will, going to be hanging on for dear life. Randy Shoemake in the back, though. He's already up into 5th place now, so Shoemake is going to be off and away, still duking it out here with Lucas LaVille side by side already. LaVille tried to defend down the front, and Shoemake got his nose in there and was not going to lift. They're still side by side now. throughout turns number 3 and 4. And so far, LaVille still trying to poke around the outside line. And now up front, they'll battle on for the lead as well. Rickhoff trying to fight against Joshua Chin, who's forcing him up to the top side.
What a battle here between Randy Shoemake and the 29 and Lucas LaVille. Side by side down the back straightaway here at Phoenix International Raceway. Shoemake's got the bottom, but LaVille's been able to make the car work on top. Now back on board here. The rear shot from Joshua Chin, the suspension shot, able to try to work his way to the outside of Rickhoff. Still doesn't have it quite cleared yet. Rickhoff's still down to the bottom. You can see the rear wing damage on the number 91 machine, finally able to get by. This is going to allow Chin to jet away. Again, a great shot from the rear of the car. There's the advantage now going down into turn 1 and 2. He has jetted away in a big way. And Nolan, what a great opportunity. The two Team Chimera drivers, Liam Quinn and Jamie Wilson, running second and third. They'll go to work on Rickhoff now. But Chin, gone like a shot out of a cannon once he got by Rickhoff.
This might get antsy here. Remember, Rickhoff has rear wing damage. The downforce on the back of that car. It's not going to be very happy with the speeds they're running around these corners. And he is going to get absolutely freight trained here. This is checking up all the battles behind him, though. So this is going to get really intense. Rickhoff cuts across Shoemake, likely as a product of that dirty air that we've been talking about time and time again. Niall McBride duking it out with Tristan Hauser just behind. All these battles are getting reeled in. There you can see that rear wing damage on the back of that car. That race spot sticker, which usually gives you about 10 extra horsepower, not going to be helping right now. Trouble in the behind. That's a big crash over at turn number 1, started by Caleb Weekly. This one was made with contact. It looked like Clark Archer drove through the back end of the number 10. That is what happened. That collected 2 cars. They shot to the outside wall. It nearly flipped over. A third car was caught up in it as well, and it was Jan Hoffman.
Wow, that was tough one there for sure. You could see surprised at Clark Archer rolling that much speed into the corner. I don't know if Weekly had to get out of it or something like that, but he was in the top. I just think that maybe Clark Archer just drove it in too deep. It seems to me that Weekly didn't make any kind of checkup. The car was a lane and a half up. No big issue for Caleb Weekly, but contact like that in turn number 1, as you said, both drivers hard into the outside retaining wall. Another driver involved as well. This is definitely going to help Joshua Chin because remember, the more caution laps we start putting here, we may not have to do another pit stop, but I don't think that we will. Chin was able to get out to a nice lead. Nolan, he has handled every restart so far. And look at the guys behind him right now. What a day so far for Team Chimera. Chin, Quinn, and Wilson. 1, 2, 3. McBride now in 9th. And the only other driver is Andrew Wood. He's in the top 10 as well. All 5 of the Team Chimera drivers now in the top 10. They have a great handle on their oval setup, and they are looking tremendous here today in Phoenix.
Yeah, Team Chimera is he's been looking very, very strong today, and he's been doing a fantastic job today for the Team Chimera boys. They've been having an absolutely thriller race, and sure enough, this has gone probably exactly the way they wanted to. They're running 1, 2, 3, and then they got 2 more drivers in the top 10 as well. Going back to that incident, I think the reason why Archer might have driven through him is because you got to remember, Rickhoff was checking up the field from that rear wing damage, couldn't make the corners as fast. That was checking the entire field up. Archer probably didn't realize the cars ahead of him were going to check up as much as they did, and that's why it drove in there so incredibly deep. And, well, we were discussing how it was closing them all in and how it was just everyone was checking up so hard for them in the corners. An incident like that, it was honestly only a matter of time, and I'm shocked it didn't happen further up front.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably a really good point, Nolan, because of that rear wing damage that we had mentioned and pointed out. Will obviously circled it for us, and that to try to carry that much speed through turns 1 and 2, it's a very tough place to try to carry speed. We don't have the rear wing, like you said, and they were all stacking up. I don't think Weekly got off the throttle that much, but I think everybody kind of in that group had to check up a little bit. Archer, of course, trying to join into the party and just carried way too much speed coming through. Being told Andrew Wood now the biggest mover, the hard charger thus far, now up into the 9th position. Andrew Wood, remember, went a long stint early, 81 laps to show us how far you can go on a tank of fuel, but doing a pretty good job here right now. Again, Andrew Wood in the number 32 machine, up into the 9th spot. Again, as I said, all 5 Team Chimera drivers currently in the top 10. They are looking good with their leader, Joshua Chin. Again, leading the way, setting the pace. He has not really been challenged all day long, Nolan, and he's been perfect on every restart thus far.
Andrew Wood, he's had a really good day for him so far. Started down in 30th place. That was second to last today. And now, well, he is well up into the top 10. So, well, not well into the top 10, but he is up 21 spots into 9. So he's been having a very good day. I know the Chimeran drivers, they can chalk this day up as a success. They've been running first, second, and third. And then, of course, you got to remember they're also running 8th and 9th then. So, like you said, all 5 of their drivers have been running this one well. Dario Rikov, he's not up front, but he is still down there in 12th place. So some drivers still going to get a little checked up there from Rikov as we continue to run around this track. At this point, we've got less than 75 laps to go until the end of this one. And, well, I have a strong feeling that there is still some more action waiting for us yet later on down the road. This is going to be one heck of a finish. You can just feel it coming.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Nolan. I don't know that anybody has anything for Chin right now, but both of his teammates, Liam Quinn and Jamie Wilson, right behind him. They'll bring him up here nice and slow. Chin has done a great job in the start, slows him up coming out of turn 4, jumps on the throttle. Again, what a launch for Chin. He gets at least 4 or 5 car lengths before he even turns in. Number 1 keeps that car midway up the racetrack. No need flirting with the yellow line down the bottom. He's got such a good start. And he'll again jet his way down the back straightaway here at Phoenix. Chin will lead it 136 laps in. So 64 laps remaining. And look at the lead already for Joshua Chin out front.
Chimeran teammates side by side. Andrew Wood trying to make a move on Niall McBride. Again, these are 2 teammates here that are duking it out. You're a hard charger, putting another spot on Niall McBride, and they're in turn holding up Johnny Grant, but they got to figure out which one of them needs to be in front because at this way, they're going to lose out spots to Johnny Grant and Josh Baird as well. This is not going to be well. Holy cow, Johnny Garrett got awfully close to the gearbox there of Andrew Wood. That was almost ending in complete and utter disaster. This is absolutely thrilling. And well, new fastest lap for the race, Jamie Wilson with a 21.443. So new fastest lap still being set. Wood back to the inside now, trying to fight around McBride. This is certainly a battle that's heating up amongst the Chimera teammates.
Yeah, can you feel it? It seems to me like things just got cranked up here. The heat obviously on. Drivers realize that we're now down to just about 60 laps remaining. These drivers further back are really starting to go to work. We're starting to get drivers getting much more aggressive on board here with Niall McBride. He's going to lose a spot right now as the 68 of Johnny Garrett slides through. A moment for Garrett a lap ago, as Nolan told you, to move Garrett up to the 9th position right now. Everybody's starting to push. Randy Shoemake putting a lot of pressure on Robert Grosser. Those 2 drivers have been battling it out through the second half of this race. Shoemake was one of the drivers who waited late and pit early there to try to see if he couldn't make something happen with a long green flag run. He's now back into that 6th position in the number 2. But Josh Baird, he's working his way up as well. Baird now into the 11th spot to try to put another one of the iconic motorsports drivers into the top 10.
Yes, indeed, and still trying to make it on working. So Jan Hoffman down in the 11th place right now. He's going to look around, but we're actually going to turn our eyes up front to that battle for second place because we actually might have a second Chimera war going on here shortly. Oh, never mind. As we say that, caution comes out again. Yet Hoffman this time making contact, and well, guess what caused this? It's the usual culprit for this race, the yellow line. Once again, just barely nicking it and overcorrected big time into the outside wall, and that's probably one of the most sudden overcorrects I've ever seen. The car had no traction, then all of a sudden, it had all of the traction, and it just shot that car dead right into the wall, head-on impact.
Yeah, interesting, too, because most of the wrecks that we've seen in turn number 4, drivers putting the full left front Firestone below the yellow line, it seems to me like he maybe just straddled it. But the same thing, the car starts to get loose on you the minute you do that, and of course, you know, just naturally you want to try to overcorrect to save it. It's almost better to potentially let it happen and ride it out. But just that natural driver instinct is to correct into the spin. And as you said, Nolan, man, that thing bit immediately and shot straight right into the wall. So a tough one there for Jan Hoffman. Let's see if he's out of the race or not. But the bottom line is he's in the pit lane. Looks to me like he could be out of the car. So that could be it for Jan Hoffman. We've lost a couple of big runners here. Jan Hoffman, Clark Archer, Andrew Aiken, Matt Molnar, Henry Bennett, all these drivers not able to get into the second half of this race. Incidents early. We knew it was going to happen here at Phoenix. It's fraught with peril. You make a mistake, and you're going to pay for it. Drivers up front staying out of trouble, though, are finding themselves working their way back into the top 10, Johnny Garrett being one of them.
Tristan Hauser currently down to the lane, and now he is in for a stop. So one driver trying to make more tires. Again, this caution will help out the Chimera guys up in front to continue to pull away with their 1, 2, 3, continue to try to lock out that podium from Lucas Laville. And Will, you've really been our big caution reporter for this race, and it's certainly going to help Chimera this one.
This one does, yeah. And just having a look back through that incident, and it seemed to be the part of the corner. It seemed to be that the Hoffman's car, he got onto that yellow line, beyond that yellow line at the first phase of the corner. And normally, of course, you break an oval corner down to 3 parts: turn in, the middle part of the corner, and corner exit. Because he got that car down on the yellow line so early, it would basically mean he had 2 choices: try to hold it down, get off the accelerator, and hope the car wouldn't drift up, or try to overcorrect. He chose the second option, the overcorrecting one, and that's what forced that car to then basically just spear to the right-hand side.
Absolutely. It's it just shows you how much of a fine line, these cars can have, especially at a track like this where, it's so easy to get the car unsettled. And like we've been talking about time and time again, these cars, they're just so it's so easy to get them unsettled. They're so incredibly fragile. You really need to show these cars a lot of respect if you want to win with them. And some of these drivers, they've been pushing their luck. Others have been tempting fate. And while other drivers have tried to take gambles with some lines, others, and for some it has worked out. Others, though, well, not so much, Rob.
Well, and I think for me, what this does, you talk about how these drivers are on the ragged edge, right? I think it speaks so much to Joshua Chin and Liam Quinn and Jamie Wilson, whatever setup they've been able to develop for Team Chimera. We're on the ragged edge for sure, but these guys have not put a wheel wrong at all. Joshua Chin, it's been a perfect race so far. You couldn't ask for much more than this. It's absolutely tremendous run so far. We're going to go back to green flag racing pretty soon. 54 laps to go. These drivers from Team Chimera, even though we're running the ragged edge, have just been absolutely impressive.
And you got to remember as well that these are the old IR 05/09 cars. These were cars that were designed for oval racing, but then adapted to allow them to run on road courses here. No, these are oval cars, but they're not specifically designed to run on short tracks compared to some of the cookie cutters 1.5s that we have, the likes of Chicagoland, Kentucky, Texas, so on and so forth.
Well, exactly, and we even see this in the real-life racing world, too. In tracks like Iowa, they run road course aero kits there because they're so short, and it's the same way here. Joshua Chin, back on the loud pedal, he is off and away. So, well, short tracks, Indycars weren't built for them, but yet here we are racing once again, and, well, it just goes to show you how much of a thrill these races can certainly be when you put a car on a track that it wasn't necessarily designed for.
What I love, Nolan, is we're coming off such a tremendous race at Sebring. That was one of the most exciting races I've ever had the chance to watch, let alone call. It was just a badass race on that modified track at Sebring. We come right here to this race at Phoenix, and these guys are putting on a show as well. This is something we need to get on TV because these guys are doing a tremendous job. Look at this battle right now. Jamie Wilson scrapping it out with Lucas Laville. Sebring winner back into the fight again. He's got the bottom part of the racetrack. It's going to be Wilson up top, side by side, but down to the bottom, it's the Vortex driver, Laville, 2 times the winner last year on oval courses, winning, as I said, at both Chicagoland and Pocono, trying to work his way back to P3. Good run so far.
Jamie Wilson continuing to try to defend Chimera's honor here in that third place. Like we've been talking about all race, they've been really trying to lock out that podium position. One other Chimera driver in the back, Andrew Wood. He's still on that hard charge. He's just about to look into the top 5 now. He's just behind Robert Rocher. So Andrew Wood, can he potentially come through and make it a 1, 2, 3, 4? That would, it's almost unheard of because it's just so rare that something like this can happen in a race like this. And right now, that is what Wood is looking to do. Meanwhile, up front, though, Wilson still trying to fend off Lucas Laville right behind.
Yeah, Andrew Wood, as we had said, really good run earlier in the year at Auto Club Speedway, came home 3rd there. So Chimera's got a really solid full package, even though we're very quick at Sebring as well. So they're definitely going to battle for the championship. Here's this fight between Jamie Wilson still holding off Lucas Laville. Lucas had that bottom part of the racetrack for at least a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps. Now, though, a little trouble coming through turn number 1 and 2. Caution flag is out and issued. Coming out of turn number 4 once again, Nolan. Another driver around, this time Dario Rikoff around coming out of turn 4.
And he got a little bit of help as well. It started when he had a bit of an oversteer moment, had to check back, got turned by Tristan Hauser, starting to slide, and Niall McBride finished him off. So there's one Chimera driver that will not be finishing in the top 10. It is McBride of the number 41 that finished Rikoff off. That number 91 car has just been having the absolute worst of luck this race, as now that suspension on that 91 car is destroyed. I'd be surprised if we saw him back out on the track after this one, but Niall McBride, unfortunately, he will most likely not be able to push his way back into the top 10. We've got just under 50 laps to go now, and, looks like that Chimera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not going to be happening today. Seriously, unfortunate there for McBride, as well, Will, you're saying that everybody should be pitting right now, and, well, it seems like only a couple drivers got your message there, because only Randy Shoemaker for now is coming down with, obviously, Niall McBride, and right behind him, Hans Pitkinen.
Yeah, this will be the perfect opportunity to pit. And again, tyre life is a huge thing in these IR09s, and it can mean the difference between you being able to charge late on and you not having the tyre life to defend late on in the race. So actually looking on board of Randy Shoemaker as he comes on towards pit road to do his service right now. And the thing is, Rob, in a track like this, there's only currently 13 drivers on the lead lap, and I would argue that that is enough time to work yourself through the field if you were to get yourself a late on caution. So taking tyres right now seems to be a no-brainer for me, and I don't understand why your top 11 have all stayed out.
Yeah, track position, right? I think Joshua Chin is pretty happy with the way the car is right now. You're right. He would have been the first guy to go in, but you want to give up track position. You know they can go to the end here on fuel. We saw that with Andrew Wood, 81 laps, so they're good on fuel. You did mention tires. This track is tough on tires, and that's definitely going to play a factor. But I think Chin's just happy with the way things are going. Had a bunch of wrecks. That's got to go into his mind, too. We've had a lot of yellow flags. Am I actually going to have to go 45 laps of green on these tires more, or will we get another yellow? I do like the call, though, for Randy Shoemaker. He comes back out in 12th. An 8-second stop for Shoemaker, pretty solid. He's got fresh rubber, fresh Firestones. So, as you said, Will, we're talking about 45 laps to go by the time we go back to green, 44. Man, this is the interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on Randy Shoemaker for sure, because he could have made a call that could put him up front. We'll see how the car responds to the new Firestones when we go back to green.
But the key thing is, Shoemaker's got to be ultra aggressive on this restart, Nolan. He's got to basically run that outside line, run whatever line possible to just try and make sure he can get those positions up. He cannot be conservative on this restart, because he'll only get about 5 to 10 laps of advantage before these tyres kind of, what we like to call, normalize.
Yes, indeed. Shoemaker's really got to put that power down. He's got to hope that he can work his way up there and, continue to get those positions as soon as he can. Jack Turner coming down to the lane, so that is going to give Shoemaker a free spot there. And so Shoemaker going to be up to 11th now. And it's like you said, he's got that 5 to 10 lap advantage before those tires really fall off to the point where they're just like everybody else's. So, Shoemaker, he's going to be trying to go for a top 10 for sure. He's going to be one of these drivers to watch on the restart. Lights are once again out on the pace car, Rob. We're now in the final quarter of the race. The time for conservation is over. I think I would say, well, it's crunch time.
Yeah, 43 laps to go for Joshua Chin when we go back racing. Again, the Team Chimera drivers, 1, 2, 3. And then you've got the two Vortex drivers, Lucas LaVille and Robert Grosser, in 4th and 5th. Shoemaker is going to be aggressive, as you said. Will said he's got to get on this. He cannot waste his time at all. He's got to attack. When those 10 laps are up, he's going to be settling back in. We'll see if we get anybody else potentially coming, if we get a yellow flag. But otherwise, the Chimera cars are lining up. Nolan, here we go again. Great start again for Joshua Chin. Green. 43 laps to go.
Lucas LaVille right on the heels of those top 3 drivers and trying to make something work. Andrew Wood duking it out with Johnny Garrett. Garrett got underneath him down the front straightaway. That's the battle for 6th place right now. Garrett's got the inside for 3 and 4. Wood still trying to tug that outside line with him to try to make it work, but he can't. Not able to get the run that he needs. Trying to look to the outside again. You're down the front straightaway as Garrett goes defensive. Wood, can he look around the outside? No, he can't. Now Josh Baird trying to get the nose in there. That isn't going to work for him, though. Wood really trapped in the middle right now behind Tristan Hauser, trying to work his way up as well.
Yeah, everybody knows that we are racing now to the end. This is big. These guys are going at it. Too wide again, coming out of the corner there. Tristan Hauser goes to the inside of Josh Baird. That's the run down to turn number 1. Hauser to the bottom in the Vortex machine. He'll let it drift up just a little bit. He'll now go to work, see if he can't reel in Andrew Wood. So move Hauser now to 8th. Randy Shoemake trying to get by Karsten Browder. He needs to get at it here. Back on board with the Shoemake. Talked about how he needs to get aggressive now. Here comes a big run down the straightaway. He'll look to the inside of Karsten Browder. And to the inside, great pass. I like that move. Will Vincent, you got to be thrilled with this. Shoemake doing exactly what you told him to do.
Exactly right. This is exactly what Shoemake needed to do, but the issue is he's now got 7/10 of a second, Nolan, to close up to Josh Bard ahead of him. Maybe Shoemake just wasn't aggressive enough on that restart.
Potentially not aggressive enough, so that could definitely hinder his attempts to try to get up there and make some more positions. The good news is he's into the top 10, which is good for him for now. The battle is certainly on, though. Up front, Andrew Wood really blocking Tristan Hauser, pinching him down the racetrack, down the back straightaway. So now Hauser trying to find a way through. Wood is still trying to hold on to these spots. He's trying to get whatever he can right now. He's trying to actually reel in Johnny Garrett in 6th place, who kicked him out of 6th place on the restart. Robert Grocer as well. He's trying to fend off Garrett now as Andrew Wood still on that inside line. Hauser trying to fight back and try to go for an over-under. Not able to get the diamond off the corner that he needed. Well, Andrew Wood, he's still running that bottom line and still trying to find his way up there to Johnny Garrett. Garrett doing a good job, though. Real Nick Grocer looking to the inside. He's going to be diving it off at turn number 3, but he's not able to make it. Has to let off.
Man, Andrew Wood running high line, low line, differing his approach to almost every corner, trying to keep Tristan Hauser at bay. Randy Shoemake got down to a 51.599, but that's pretty much what everybody's running right now. So Shoemake not making any hay when he needs to. He's got to get aggressive as Will said, but he's not doing that. This is a tremendous battle now. Andrew Wood on the outside. Look at that. Hauser's got to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll now try to go to work on Johnny Garrett. Garrett going after Hauser's teammates Robert Grocer and Lucas LaVille, but a good run for Hauser. He tried the top line for a couple of laps. Didn't work. Goes back down to the bottom. Finally able to get by Andrew Wood, moving him down to 8th. Hauser on the move into the 7th spot, closing back up. Now on board here with Jamie Wilson. Let's go back to this fight for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. These are the leaders right now. Wilson looking forward. His teammate Liam Quinn, Nolan, holding strong there for 2nd. And right now, Joshua Chin not getting away like he did early on.
So Joshua Chin not able to get as good of a restart this time. He's got his 2 teammates, of course, Jamie Wilson, who's actually looking at the inside of Liam Quinn. So teammates looking to go to battle again. This might be what Lucas LaVille wants to see in the back. He's wanting to hope that they can get side by side. That's going to slow them both up, but still, that battle behind them is very much on. That 4-car battle for the final top 5 position. Garrett's now putting himself up into the 5th place. Tristan Hauser trying to look underneath for 6th place. And that battle brought to a very abrupt end. The caution flag out once again. Neil McBride, again, another problem. And it was contact with Randy Shoemake. So it's all gone wrong again for Chimera's number 41, who slapped the outside wall hard. And he is likely going to be out of this race as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe Randy Shoemake got a little bit impatient. The call to come in to get fresh rubber, he knew that he had to make moves. We talked about the fact he needed to be aggressive. That was most definitely aggressive. He was not going as quickly forward as I think he wanted. Look at him here, trying to go to the inside. Yeah, that he just did not have the spot. Got right into the back of the left rear of McBride. Tough one for him. And again, I think you just got to chalk that up to him getting a little impatient. The car wasn't coming in the way he wanted. He wasn't getting the advantage he needed. He was back there in the 11th spot. Just didn't all work out for him. Tough one for Shoemake, and again, I think even more tough for Neil McBride because he did not deserve that in turn 1.
No, certainly did not. It's one of those unfortunate things you have to see, but that comes with racing here in these final runs. I mean, we're going to be less than 30 laps to go. We take it back green here, Rob. It's been just that kind of a race where you got to just try to take it in stride and take with what you can get. So Well, this is again going to help out the top three for the Chimera drivers. They're still trying to clinch away with that podium position. They've been doing a great job of that so far this race. And Joshua Chindy's definitely led the most laps so far in this one as well. But his restarts have been hindering a little bit. You got to wonder if that's from the tires starting to get a little bit older now. Of course, you got to taken a note that they have not come down in some time yet. You know, Will was talking on the last caution how you would expect a lot of these drivers might want to come down to get those fresh rubber on for the final laps, but that has not been the case. A lot of these drivers still coming out. The only driver outside of Shoemake coming down that time was Hans Pitkinen. So it's really it's one of those interesting factors. And well, you got 46 lap stints, as Will is saying. So it's going to be looking like a very interesting situation as we're now in the final 30.
I don't understand why more people didn't come in that, because you only got 13 drivers on the lead lap. That's the important thing to note. And with 13 drivers on the lead lap, you can overtake here. Those tyres for the lead group are going to get more and more warm. They're doing what we like to call heat cycles right now. And that will mean that these tyres will become less and less grippy, especially on starts and restarts. I can tell you two quick stories here whilst under caution. The first one, I remember a time when basically 4 drivers of the same team once spun at exactly the same time on a restart at Texas Motor Speedway because they're running on old tyres. The second one, Tim Doyle, probably one of the best iRacing Indycar racers of all time, once took tyres at a racetrack like Phoenix with 10 laps to go. He worked from P10 up to the race lead in 10 laps. It's doable. You got to be brave. But the thing is, Nolan, with 30 laps to go, you still got about half of a fuel and a tyre life that you can work with. So I don't understand why more people didn't take the gamble on that last pit stop. Because if you do it in the next pit stop, it's almost too late to get the advantage.
Well, you got to also keep in mind that I feel like a lot of the drivers might not be willing to take such a gamble right now. We do still have 30 laps left to go, but it is not a lot of time to make something work either, Rob. So I feel like what this might be is it might be one of those cases where if one of the leaders comes down, everybody's going to follow suit. It's one of those, sheep follow the shepherd. And right now, Joshua Chin is certainly looking like the shepherd out there. He's been leading these guys ever since he took the lead early in the race, and he is definitely looking strong here for these final 30 laps. But it's one of those things where surely we might be seeing one more stop yet throughout this race.
I don't know. I just think it's track position. I think the Chin just likes leading. I don't think he wants to pull into pit lane. The last thing he needs to do is pull into pit lane and have his crew go by him. He'll jump back on it again. The one guy that did press the reset button was Randy Shoemake. He's going to try to get really aggressive once again. But again, watching Liam Quinn. Behind him is Jamie Wilson. So Quinn's got some gap. In fact, first and second, both Chin and Quinn getting a good advantage, pulling out. But here comes Lucas LaVille, Nolan. He's going to go to work here on Jamie Wilson. He'll look to the high side, try to diamond that corner off, get a better exit onto the front straightaway. Does get a bit of a good run on him, but still a good lap here for Jamie Wilson. Lucas LaVille, the Vortex Sim Sports driver, down to the bottom of the racetrack. So let's see if he gets a run down the back chute as LaVille, your Sebring winner, trying to see if he can't get back on the podium here in Phoenix.
LaVille tried to diamond off the corners, wasn't able to make it work. So now LaVille under fire now from Johnny Grant, and behind them, Randy Shoemake. He's going to work as well. Shoemake ducking underneath Karsten Broadway now. And so that is back into the top 10 there for Shoemake, Josh Baird, and Robert Groscher duking it down just up the road as well. So this is going to help Schumann to continue to close in the gap. So it looks like if you got fresh tires on that car, which, I mean, if you're coming down to fix damage, you may as well. So, there's a big jump from Groscher to the inside, but he jumped it so suddenly. Wasn't even actually get the run. He scrubbed off all his speed. So Josh Baird now going to be able to try to pull away with 8th place. Still, though, Shoemake, he's closing fast.
Yeah, that was a strong move there for Josh Baird to go to the inside of Robert Groscher to take that spot. They'll work their way out of turn number 3 and over to 4. Up by the front straightaway once again. Grosser's been moving backwards a little bit now into the 9th position. Baird in the iconic motorsports machine, the number 23, now working his way up into 8th. It'll be a Shoemake, the next driver, trying to reel in Robert Grosser here. And again, Chin still leading. But here's this fight now. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. We have about 24 laps remaining. None of these drivers have pit. Remember, Shoemake, the driver on the fresh rubber. We'll see if that makes any difference as he rolls a bunch of speed in here into turn number 1. Yeah, looking pretty good on the exit. Good exit speed out of turn number 2. Closing right up here on Grosser now. Will had talked about the fact that he needs to be aggressive. Looks to the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to push Grosser up a bit. Nolan Shoemake this time much more aggressive than we saw after that first pit stop.
Very aggressive indeed. Randy Shoemake, he's trying to make something work, but turning the lines back up front because that battle for 4th place, or 5th, is heating up as well. Johnny Garrett all over the gearbox of Tristan Hauser. Hauser was able to make it work as we are going to go to a replay to show you what in the world just transpired. This was Garrett losing out the top 5, and then watch this sudden block right down into the dog leg. That was awfully close there from Hauser as he tried to make it work. So, well, now this is certainly getting aggressive here. Randy Shoemake, he's trying again with Robert Grosser, this time not diving off into the corner because he's already got the nose in there. Grosser trying to fight the outside line. It's not going to do anything for him, though. Shoemake's got 9th place done and dusted.
Yeah, I was going to say, with those fresh tires, right, staying at the bottom of the racetrack, there's no way that Grosser's going to be able to hold back. Shoemake now works his way up into the 9th position. He'll go to work trying to catch up to Josh Baird. But I'll tell you, Tristan Hauser better watch out because, as you guys saw, Johnny Garrett, the man being super aggressive right now. Here's on board, or watching rather, Josh Baird. He's to the guy at the front part, the left side of the screen. Randy Shoemake in the number 2, closing back up. Shoemake has been much more aggressive in this particular stint. You can tell that we're into the final 20 laps, just 19 to go. Randy Shoemake, who is running in 9th, starting to close up here on Josh Baird. Up front, though, Joshua Chin, Liam Quinn, and Jamie Wilson, as we said. Shoemake to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll look to the inside of turn number 1. Book it. He's through. Excellent pass. Shoemake Nolan on the move.
Now the question will be, can he close the gap in to 7th place? I'm not sure if he's going to have the speed he quite needs to work his way up that far, because that is a much greater distance. So we're going to turn our eyes back up front to this massive battle for right now what is 3rd, and that is going to close in the 2nd, and no doubt 1st as well here in a minute. LaVille is still trying to find something to work, and don't forget you got Tristan Hauser, another of the Vortex drivers, right behind him as well. So LaVille, he is currently trying to fend off his own teammate while he's also trying to close in the gap as well. Tristan Hauser looking to the inside of it, jumping on the brakes, not wanting to run over LaVille, understandably so. LaVille trying to fight that outside line, not able to get there though. Hauser to the inside of his Vortex teammate. He's going to be through into 4th place now and trying to reel in a podium position.
Yeah, strong run for Hauser, Noel. No doubt about it. Great move to the inside of Lucas LaVille to take over that 4th spot. Top 5 drivers separated by less than 3/4 of a second right now, as we now have just 15 laps remaining. Joshua Chin has been perfect throughout the entire day. Not a mistake on the racetrack. Not a mistake during one of the restarts, the many restarts we've had here today. Look at this fight there, though, for 2nd spot. Jamie Wilson on the bottom. Wilson trying to get a good run. Let's go on board with Wilson here in the Team Camara. Number 87, putting so much pressure on his teammate Liam Quinn, who goes below the yellow line, coming out of 2. I like this fight now. Wilson's been patient. He's been sitting in 2nd. He wants to try to win this. He better get by Liam Quinn quickly to try to chase down Joshua Chin. Again, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Good running here for Jamie Wilson.
Don't forget Tristan Hauser with that side-by-side battle there a minute ago. That's allowed Hauser to really reel in this gap. He is all over the back end now. He's going to look through the dog leg, and he's going to get the inside. So there you have it, Chimera. For the first time all race since Chin took the lead, they've lost that 3rd place. Jamie Wilson getting pushed up. He's almost into the wall, actually, on turn number 4, and getting squeezed in there by Hauser. No mercy there. The 56 car taking absolutely no prisoners today. Jamie Wilson forced to back out. Now he's under threat from Lucas LaVille right behind him as well. LaVille trying to dive it off under the 87. It's just falling apart for Jamie Wilson.
This is awesome right now. Tristan Hauser, fastest driver on the racetrack. Lucas LaVille on the bottom as well. He's going to go to the inside of Wilson. Wilson's just stuck on top of the racetrack. Johnny Garrett's going to be coming through here pretty soon as well. He's kind of getting hung out to drive it. Tristan Hauser, the man on the move, sticking here with Lucas LaVille, Sebring winner, down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try to take over P4. Looks like he's pretty much got it locked. I'll tell you, Wilson not giving up on the high side as of yet. Again, down to the bottom. Goes LaVille. Look at that big run on the outside, though, for the 87 of Wilson. Tremendous battle here for P4. We are heating up for a race victory, though. We have just 10 laps to go. Tristan Hauser's closed up to Liam Quinn. This is going to be a battle to the end for sure. Side by side coming across start finish.
Well, what did I tell you earlier in this race? You could tell that something big might happen here in these final laps. We are now with 10 laps to go. One car to the wall behind them, Johnny Garrett glancing off the outside wall just off of turn number 2. He's managed to hang on to it. LaVille now, he's still at the inside for 4th place, and still Wilson doing a fantastic job to pull that outside line. And now he's got Andrew Wood right behind us all. Up front, though, all sorts of defensive for Liam Quinn, who looked weaved in left and right across the track to cut off Tristan Hauser. And still LaVille fighting that inside line, has managed to get this one done now. Now Chimera teammates once again side by side. Andrew Wood making a look around Wilson as well.
Tristan Hauser has been so impressive over the last quarter of this race. Further back, this great scrap going on 2x2, a little deeper in the field. I'll tell you, it's right on board here with the 32 of Andrew Wood. He's trying to go to work here now on Jamie Wilson. Had the spot. A little bit of trouble there for the 32 of Wood. He's lost a couple of positions, I believe. Now back into the 7th spot, so we'll recycle that. Up front still, Hauser trying to go to work. Here's a replay. Here's the side-by-side drivers. Look at, not sure what happened there with Andrew Wood. I think he just had to get out of it. Car was probably starting to rotate a little bit as he was trying to get by Jamie Wilson. The throttle and that allowed Johnny Garrett to get by as well.
He tied the yellow line. That's exactly what happened. The car started to rotate around, so we had to laugh big time to avoid sending that car to the outside wall, and good thing he did. Now, though, Liam Quinn versus Tristan Hauser. This is for 2nd place now. Hauser trying to dive it up the inside now, but it gets cut off by Liam Quinn. That was a bit dirty there for the 24 car just on the extra turn number 1 as the 24 dived it off that corner right across the front wing there of Tristan Hauser in the 56. Hauser looking to take the outside line, but he's not able to get that diamond off at the corner. Still got that slipstream down the run. This is allowing Chin to continue to pull away with this gap. 5 laps left to go here at Phoenix. Hauser up the inside. He's finally going to try to make that move for 2nd.
What a tremendous fight for 2nd spot. Hauser's going to try to get through again on the outside. Liam Quinn trying to hold him down to the bottom of the racetrack. This may allow Chin to stretch away. As you said, just 5 laps remaining for Joshua Chin, the Team Chimera driver leading, but Tristan Hauser has now gone to 2nd. Aggressive run there for Hauser. You see that he has left Quinn back behind the gearbox. Hauser now goes to P2. Can he chase down Joshua Chin? The Vortex driver is the man on the move in the second half of this race and the final 25 laps as well. He's been able to get by Quinn. Nolan laps winding down, 3 to go. Hauser trying to reel in the leader.
He's got to do something fast because Joshua Chin right now is definitely looking a bit quicker. Half a second separate the two. It's going to be a very close fight for that lead as, well, looking back to Andrew Wood is still trying to look around for getting some more positions down there in 7th place. Andrew Wood now you see Johnny Garrett going all sorts of defensive. Wood still trying to find one more place. Going to arc it underneath, and he's going to get right underneath Johnny Garrett now. Off of turn number 2 with 2 laps left to go and shuts the 68 car almost to the outside wall. That was aggressive there from Wood. White flag is out though, and Joshua Chin is looking clean and green up front. He's just got to hold it together for half a lap. That number 93 car, it's been looking strong since lap number 1. 2 more corners to go. Down through 3, down through 4. Going to take a bit more caution on the outside line. Hauser going to take it off in 2nd, but Joshua Chin wins it here at Phoenix. He wins the OpenWheels.com 200, and Tristan Hauser brings it off in 2nd. Liam Quinn, unfortunately, had nothing. He's going to be down in 3rd place, but my goodness, what a final stint of that race, Rob.
You know what? Call it a perfect day for Joshua Chin because we said this, right? Got to the lead, didn't make even one mistake, handled every restart he could have. The drive of the day at the end there was Tristan Hauser for Vortex. My goodness, to watch him come through and do what he did, past both of his teammates, first Robert Grosser, then he gets by Lucas LaVille, then he gets by Jamie Wilson, and then that tremendous run with Liam Quinn. Quinn shut the door, let's say slammed the door on him one time. This time, though, able to get by, and then, you know what? I think 5 more laps and Tristan Hauser may have been able to take that. But the bottom line is this, as he bangs out some donuts here, Joshua Chin, absolutely perfect. Will Vincent, it's just like an incredible run. His 2nd race win of the year.
And also, happy birthday, Joshua Chin from Team Chimera. And what a way to celebrate your birthday, Nolan.
I think this is probably the best birthday gift you could have gotten today. No, getting the race win. And not to mention, right now, he has been oval dominant this season. He's won both oval races in the season thus far. So Chin on a charge, and you could tell absolutely burning it down on the front straightaway right now. He is having a blast down there. So that was definitely a way to take the win there, and he timed those restarts perfectly, really. Going to go to our race results now. Joshua Chin will finish it off in first place with a beautiful birthday present for him. Tristan Hauser in second with Liam Quinn taking it up in third. Vortex Sim Racing's Lucas Laville in fourth with Jamie Wilson and Andrew Wood, fifth and sixth for Team Chimera. Johnny Garrett will be in seventh with Randy Shoemake, eighth. Josh Baird, ninth. Robert Groscher rounds out the top 10. It is going to be down in 11th place Jack Turner with Karsten Broadway, Hans Pitkinen, and Joni Kaihinen. Neil McBride rounds out the top 15, Rob.
Yeah, you know what I take away from here is for a majority of that race, it was Team Chimera 1, 2, 3, but over the last 25 laps, it was the Vortex guys that actually came in and put on the show. It was Tristan Hauser working his way forward. Same went for Lucas Laville, the winner from Sebring. It looked like it was going to be a Chimera 1, 2, 3, but indeed, we end up with two teams dominating the top four. Two drivers from Chimera in Chin and Quinn, two drivers from Vortex in Hauser and Laville. I like the way this championship is shaping up. We've got a two-time winner in Joshua Chin, but man, some pretty amazing stuff. Let's have a look through the remainder of the results as well. Logan Simmons coming home in the 21st spot. Matt Molnar, who had a good run early, in 22nd. Henry Bennett as well worked his way forward. He had that big issue. He ends up 23rd. Martin Nagelkirchen in 24th. Muisa Nimi was out early in 25th. Ethan again in 26th spot. Todd Novosad ends up in 27th. Franz Joseph Stum in 28th. Marshall Stanley 9th. Art McEwen, or other 29th. Art McEwen in 30th. And I think we had two more drivers in the field as well. But nonetheless, all in all, a pretty tremendous run. Final drivers, I believe, Ariel Guerra, I think was 31st. I don't think we had anybody in the 32nd spot. Nolan, that was a great race. As I said, Sebring was the first race I got a chance to call here in this Classic IndyCar series. I'm in love with this program because that race was amazing. And this one here, literally edge of our seat. I think both of you and I were holding our breath a couple of times. They put an absolute fantastic show here at Phoenix International Raceway.
Oh, absolutely they did. It was an absolutely phenomenal race today. And, I'll tell you what, it has been, an absolutely thriller of a race today. So, I think at this point we got one or two drivers that are going to be looking to give us a little bit of a chit-chat here after the race. And, I think we should start things off here with your race winner for today. Joshua Chin, after starting fourth, came home and led just about every lap after he took the lead. First of all, Josh, happy birthday to you, and congrats on the win today.
Thank you. It's not really the way I expected this race to go, and I'm not upset about it. I thought after qualifying it was going to be a little bit more of a struggle than it was, but overall race went really well. Got around the AeroX guys and just kind of controlled from there. Midway through, we were starting to get some green flag runs, and the car really showed its strength. I wish we'd be able to get more green flag running at the end instead of that one long run, because it helps some guys get tires and get caught back up, but overall, it was a really great race, and thank you.
Well, it's certainly coming away with a very impressive win, led so many laps of this race after you took the lead early on. You, of course, had your Chimera teammates behind you helping you out in second and third. You're looking set to lock out that podium position. You did get one of the driver on there, Liam Quinn, but, with the challenge that the racetrack was it difficult for you to come away with that race win? Because we've seen a lot of drivers, they were really struggling with the track today with just, really the nature of how it is.
We kind of figured out on Thursday or Friday that this was the package we were going to run and race, and we just needed to kind of control and do what we could on our own. A lot of guys were running faster, but they were wrecking a lot more, and we said, okay, let's run this. We know we have long run pace, and we can hold on to it. Overall, it worked out pretty well. All the guys had good runs. Unfortunately, Jamie kind of got bodied out of there for the podium, but they all ran really strong, and I can't complain about that.
Next race we were talking about, we believe, was Brands Hatch, as we were thinking. The last race you had at Sebring, actually, where we again talked to you there, you came close to a win there as well. Do you think you'll be able to maybe go and get another one and go back-to-back over in England?
I hope so. I know we got good pace on the road courses, and I just need to not mess up qualifying, because that's kind of what put me in a bad spot for Sebring, trying to come from behind and make up that gap, and led to more mistakes. So I think overall, just have to go in qualifying and not mess it up, and I think all of us will run pretty strong there.
And well, before we let you go and celebrate your win with your Chimera teammates today, do you have anybody else you'd like to shout out for us today? Who gets it done for the number 93?
Everyone at Team Chimera that was on board for this, Andrew, Jamie, Liam, Niall, they all put in a lot of work on the setup this week, and it really paid off. I think we went in the weekend confident. Craig Setup Shop, and you guys for broadcasting, and Classic Indycar for putting on the series.
That was your race winner of the day, Joshua Chin. Josh, thank you for taking the time to join us today, and once again, happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
And, well, that is all for our race leader, and I believe right now we've actually got our runner-up as well. And, well, Rob Howden standing by on the second step of the podium with your second-place finisher, Tristan Hauser.
Hey.
Yeah, Tristan, congratulations on a tremendous run. You know, early in the race you were kind of settling in, but, man, we had the spotlight on you for the last 25 laps. Walk us through that run, because you obviously had a great car and you were aggressive and went to work, man. Up into P2, just a tremendous run. How good was the car in the last couple of laps?
Yeah, the car was actually, we engineered it for a different temperature, and the track temperature was decreasing a lot. And because I was at the P11 when I did the last pits, I reduced wings a lot, and that helped. And of course, the new tires.
Let's talk a little bit about your Vortex Sim Racing team as well. I know you guys work hard on getting the setup dialed in. You actually had to go through all of them to get to the front. Lucas Laville was strong throughout the day, as was Robert Grosser. You got by Robert, then you were able to get by Lucas as well. It just seemed like you were moving forward. In your mind, were you trying to be aggressive? Did you think you could potentially go for the race win?
Yeah, I could go. Well, yeah. I was not sure if there's still enough laps, and laps in they're going by very fast. So yeah, and at the end suddenly it said 5 laps to go, and there I was, I think P2, and yeah, but Josh was just too fast. He had a great set and a great car as well, even without pitting before that. So I doubt I could overtake him at the end.
Well, you know what? Up front, Tristan, they were kind of running 1, 2, 3, the Team Chimera guys. So I do appreciate you putting on a show for us, because you made it super exciting over the last couple laps. Anybody you want to take an opportunity to thank right now?
Well, first I want to apologize on Lime. I think he is a little bit upset. I was a little bit too aggressive. I at one point also taking, I think, P3. We had a small contact there. I tried to give him the space again for that. And yeah, I hope everyone is fine and not too angry with me. And otherwise, I want to thank all the team of Classic Indycar Series, especially your sponsor, Open Wheels 200, and the virtual race car engineering.
Well, again, congratulations on a great run. Yeah, you know what? You've got to be aggressive when you try to get by here. It's a tough place to pass. Liam may not be super happy, but man, you know what? You showed your true mettle here today. Congratulations on a solid second place finish.
Thank you very much.
That was
an amazing run there, Nolan. Let's see if we can't bring Liam Quinn in as well in third spot, because the bottom line is Liam was unbelievably quick all day long.
Absolutely, he was. Well, now we are moving down to the third step of the podium, and, well, it's the second Chimera driver we're getting to talk to today, Mr. Liam Quinn, starting off in 8th, but managing to come on home in a pretty comfortable 3rd place there.
Yeah, I don't know about comfortable. It was very comfortable for the last 20 laps, but yeah, it was a really good car, I think. It would have been nice to have a 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I had anything with Josh, but man, it's fun round here.
Well, I'm glad to see that you were enjoying yourselves. It was certainly looking good with those 3 Chimera cars running 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, Tristan Hauser, well, let's say he certainly was on the charge, and he managed to kick one of you guys out of the top 3. But still, coming home with a 1 and a 3, so 2 of your guys on the podium, sure, you guys got to be happy with that one.
Yeah, delighted. Especially his first couple of rounds didn't go as well as we hoped, other than Josh winning. So yeah, to get a podium's brilliant.
And well, it was certainly an intense race. And well, what about you? We've seen a lot of drivers that were, having their own little struggles. That yellow line, of course, was a huge culprit for cautions aplenty today. Was things looking a little more steady up there? Because you actually managed to avoid a lot of the calamity for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, we struggled with the set a little bit in warm up and practice because we found if we added more speed to the car, it was a bit of a death trap. So we stayed on the safer side, and it seemed to really, really help out, especially as the stints went on and the track temp started pretty high. We went quite cold in the end, so I think we had that in our pocket where we were always pretty secure and pretty tight throughout the stint.
Well, still glad to see that despite the apparent struggles in practice and warm-up, you were able to come home with that third-place finish. And, Will, before we let you go to celebrate the third place with Josh Machin and the rest of your Chimera teammates, who gets it done there for the number 24?
Just all the Chimera guys, really. I think Josh, Jamie, and Andrew really did a really good job of the set this week, so I didn't really contribute too much, I'll have to say. So big thanks to those guys.
That was your final podium place winner, Liam Quinn, and I believe at the time we do have one more driver who we're going to bring on in here to talk to. You're standing by with him, Rob. Lucas Laville coming home in fourth place, 1.1 seconds behind Joshua Chin. Wasn't quite able to clinch the podium today.
Lucas coming off a tremendous run at Sebring where you're able to get the victory there. You and your Vortex teammates were pretty strong. Walk us through the first part of the race, maybe first half. Did you feel you were pretty happy with the way the car was running? There was a lot of chaos behind you guys, but the front five ran pretty strong.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was exactly where I wanted to be, even though I was a bit slower than what I wanted. The top three could run away, so I was just running my race pretty much. But the car was good all the long run, and that's the target we had. But yeah, this race is a pretty big positive, obviously pace-wise, but I couldn't get a result I wanted out of it. But it's a strong point for sure for the future.
One of the things we kind of questioned, we were surprised that nobody kind of came into pit, the guys up front. Was it just pretty much the fact that you didn't want to give up any track position?
Exactly. It's too tough to pass, and as you said, it was a bit of chaos behind. So I think the top five just wanted to stay out to keep track position and just stay out of trouble. As the track cooled down at the end of the race, the difference between new tires and older tires kind of reduced. So that helped us keep strong pace compared to Tristan that was coming behind on way newer tires. And even though that made the difference for him to get P2, I think had the race gone green longer, I don't think it would have been able to be there that early.
So you get a victory in Sebring, P4 here. You're right in the middle of the championship chase. Let's look forward. What are you thinking about the next round, potentially at Brands Hatch? Is that going to be a facility where he'll be able to be up front again?
Hopefully. The plan is to win there. I don't know if I have the pace on ovals to beat Josh and the Chimera guys, so I have to do it where the driver is more on the line than the car, if that makes sense. So I have to win. The objective is to win. That's going to be tough. Pretty much like an endurance race. Traffic is going to be a big factor. So hopefully I'm in the hunt and I can keep up with Josh championship-wise.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a bit of a bull-ring race running there at Brands Hatch. Let's give you an opportunity to thank your sponsors right now. Lucas, you guys have done a great job with the entire Vortex Sim Racing team. So who do you want to take the opportunity to say hello to?
Big shout out to the guys for the car this week once again. It's all on them. As well, shout out to you guys. I can't wait to watch the race after the fantastic broadcast that was 2 weeks ago. And so big shout out to every driver that makes CIS as successful as it is. One big field again today. And so big thanks to the title sponsor of CIS, Virtual Race Car Engineer.
Lucas, thank you very much. Well done. P4 for you, and again, a championship battle for sure. You'll be a contender. I'll tell you, Nolan, this is going to be an incredible championship because things are shaping up. We're seeing some drivers start to work their way to the forefront. Guys, we'll be talking about week in and week out, but I like the way this program, this classic IndyCar series, is kind of laying out because I think we're going to have a fight all year long to see who wins this championship.
Oh, absolutely, man. That does tend to be the way these series go. So it's been an absolutely thriller one today, and well, certainly what a thrilling race that we've witnessed, a whole 200 laps here. And well, before we begin to wrap things up here, then Rob, do you have any final thoughts yourself for us?
Well, you know what? When it first started, as I'd said before, when the Indycar program came back to Phoenix a number of years ago, the race was kind of a snoozer, and that's one of the reasons why the series is no longer there. It was more processional. This particular race with this particular drivers and this race car, this older Dallara, man, it was so much fun to watch. The racing we saw 2 wide, 3 wide at times. It really played to drivers who could have that patience. We saw passes get set up one corner to pass 2 corners later. It just requires a great strategy, patience. We saw a tremendous run out of Joshua Chin, an absolutely perfect race, a good call to get fresh tires late in the run for Tristan Hauser. All in all, it was a race that had every storyline that you would have wanted to make it exciting. I thought it was a tremendous race, and I can't wait to Brands Hatch in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, that's going to be a very good race to behold, and I can't wait for that one either. So, well, with that, it is going to be time for us to sign off on yet another broadcast. I have been Nolan Rempel, bringing you today's presentation with Rob Howden beside me in the commentary box, and Will Vincent, our dedicated, well, you can say, pit reporter and behind the cameras for today's race. Thank you for joining us today at RaceSpot TV on the iRacing Esports Network for round number 3 in the VRCE Classic IndyCar Series. We'll talk to all of you in the next one.